He's not an idiot. He's just Swedish.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Heyo! It is Friday, and it is end of the work week for most of us, for some of us. And yeah, after today's stream, which ended at your lunch, at my afternoon, I went to bed and slept for a good hour. Just a gorgeous nap. Woke up, had a sandwich, and thought, I'm going back to bed. Yeah, so that is what happened, and then I just hold on there. So I did that. I slept for another 3 hours. Woke up. Yeah, time to wake up. What time is it? Oh, wrong time of the day. Had a shower. Then just, hey, let's make a finally Friday out of this. No, I have not converted. This is wet hair edition. Yeah. Something I will sandwich. No, earlier on, and then I went back to sleep. And then I decided shower, a shit and a shower, and then yeah, let's put up a stream for a finally Friday stream. And here we are. And joining me at this is hi Farrell.
Hi Nick.
How you doing?
I'm good. I have an hour before I gotta get ready for work, so I'm gonna spend it with you.
Yay! Yay! Yeah, I have about, I don't know, I have no idea how long I'm going to go on, and I don't have any special subjects, so just, crap talk, everything, front and back and everything. Yeah, how are you doing otherwise? Wait a minute, you have an hour before you have to go to work? On a Friday?
Yeah. Yep. I work overnight, so.
Oh, you work overnights.
Yep. That's where I've been, Valhalla, working overnight.
Valhalla, you have the link on Discord, so you can join and yell at Farrell. If
Why
good luck
are
with
you
that.
wearing a towel on your head?
Because I washed my hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do the turban style.
I see that.
Yeah, I agree. Overnight. Yeah, I hope the money and all. Yeah.
Well, it
everything is good.
works for my family, so.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah.
And there's less humans at night, so.
Yeah. More vampires, less humans. What else can you ask for?
Oops.
Oh.
I forgot to mute my phone. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I haven't been on in so long.
You have Super Mario as your phone signal? Aw.
Yes.
That's so sweet. I haven't heard those in ages. Because and I know, is that the sound when you go down the tube?
I don't remember. I haven't played it in forever either, but the sound is catchy, so
yeah,
it gets my attention when I'm at work and I get a message.
Speaking of work, hey.
So,
how are you?
I should have told everyone it's a Swedish hat, traditionally related to winter stores of grain. Oh,
Oh yeah, you're
Oh,
right. That is when they're in the
yeah,
down in the
in the
dungeon
dungeon.
thing.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
I knew
Okay.
somebody would know.
Yeah, yeah. All of our chats and everything kind of have a certain amount of what 20, 30 years ago we would be called nerds. And now we rule the world. We rule the internets. We rule the YouTubes. uh,
I like the collective knowledge of everybody.
yeah, it is amazing. Valhalla,
There's
you
always
again.
somebody around that knows something.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Sal, what have you been up to on a Friday evening?
Nothing really. Kind of nice. Just relax.
Don't get it twisted. Huh?
Who-
What's twisted?
I don't know what's twisted. Val, don't get your knickers in a twist or whatever it's called. I don't know.
Don't get your pennies in a bunch, Valhalla.
No, I'm having a beer. Just well, how about hanging around with friends I don't have over here, only on the YouTubes? I mean, I meet you guys more than I meet my family.
Right?
Yep.
And I work
Yeah.
with my family.
Oh,
I still spend more time with you guys.
Twisted is a brand name for a Tubi.
Oh.
It's the towel. I mean, yeah. He's getting
Let's
amped
go.
up. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got a link? Let's go.
Yeah, you got a link. Let's go. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I'm not
This
scared
is
of you,
just in the
goat
way.
boy.
Uh-oh.
Ah,
Fabulous.
I can't hear you, so.
Let's all talk crap about him.
Ah,
God, can you believe this Nick guy? He's so weird. Oh, hey, Nick. How you doing, buddy?
hey.
I love your
Ah.
hairs.
I know.
They're fantastic.
You have hair like
Aw.
my dad.
The only really where I can carry a proper knife and claim it's a religious requirement. Yeah, I mean,
Really?
the Acer faith is not recognized as a faith and everything. That would be that's for me. That would have been amazing to convert to, because I have I have everything to go with it.
So religion has to be recognized there? Like you can't just make up a religion?
Did anyone? I'm sure there are people around who knows how to clip stuff. Yeah.
And just slow it down a little bit and put some sexy music behind it.
Hi, expert.
Oh, expert. Yeah, expert also has the link.
He's
So, yeah.
driving.
Oh, he's driving. Yeah, then don't.
Yeah, he went to the store.
Don't.
Keep texting.
I got from Dave. Hopefully, hop on after my 8 p.m. stream. 8 p.m. So he starts in 2 hours.
Starts in an hour.
He starts in
An
an
hour.
hour. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there
only
he
5
is.
hours for a few more days.
Hi, David.
Hi, David.
Look, it's my favorite YouTuber, David Helm.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, David was mentioned in the trial I'm covering because there is MLS was mentioned. Somebody on a jet ski, and I immediately think of Dave. And then the prosecution joked about this extortionist, Mr. Adelson. Oh, no. Few extortionists wear fake Abe Lincoln beard and a funky hat. All of that came together to the Hi, Dave.
Some ski
What?
doos.
That's the extent of my at Canva plus grabbing stuff, put it in, and make it move.
I was actually looked at Canva for the first time yesterday. I was impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Wait, how are you talking about Valhalla? David is the best YouTuber that there is.
what have I done, Farrell? Hey, Dave.
Oh,
I saw
Here
the
he
bat
is.
signal go up.
who's that weirdo?
The jet ski, the
Oh.
jet ski signal. Hi, Farrell. How are you?
Hi, David. I'm good. How are you?
Mm,
Good.
Yeah, I also have one of these for when I need
Nice.
a US lawyer advice.
Yeah.
I have a Dave signal.
That's awesome.
So are they done with all the evidence in your trial, Nick? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they finished off Friday lunch, and then they sat down to do the jury instructions, and now they are preparing for Monday closing arguments. And of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm fully booked with negotiations.
Of
And
course.
Baker still has 3 weeks on his trial.
Yeah.
It's not done.
No.
No.
Baker's? No.
Oh God.
It was
No,
a 5-week trial.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Katia and
Izine.
Christine and Murphs.
No.
What is it?
At
But today was the
How
most
did the-
interesting day because they played the defendant's interrogation
Really?
in his trial,
And
and he wasn't
he's
even
not
streaming it.
there.
Yeah, and he's not
He's
there.
busy
So
drinking
when-
Christmas beer.
That's what I hear. But yeah, so when he's not streaming, it's more interesting. So they
That's
say.
usually how it goes.
Mm.
How did your defendant do, Nick?
How did my defendant? He did surprisingly well on
Oh,
cross-examination, or the
Or the
prosecution
prosecutor
did.
just sucked.
The prosecution did not do. I mean, a 2.5-hour cross-examination, and out of that, 20 minutes was useful.
And the
And
defense
yeah.
went all day yesterday and an hour today.
yeah,
That
and
was
there's
all
so much. There was so much in it to attack, and they didn't. Why did Farrell and Dave disappear at the same time?
She came out of
This-
the attic.
I'm right here. Calm down.
Yeah. No, I mean, there was so much to attack in this, and once the prosecution did it against Charlie Adelson, she did it good when she attacked the actual discrepancies and things that didn't make sense that forced him on the defense. But most of the time, she tried to poke hole in stuff with open-ended questions, and
Yeah.
Dave, me, every lawyer says, don't ask open-ended questions
That
that
drove
you
me
don't
crazy.
know the answer to.
Yeah.
And while talking about stuff we don't know the answer to,
Hi.
Val,
How are you doing?
Valhalla.
Valhalla has been inserting liquid bravery because
Sure have.
I'm jealous. I wish I was.
clear liquid, that's a weird-looking vodka bottle.
It's just water, man. I haven't got to the beer yet. I've been running all day.
Crush some Bud Light.
I have ooh, you stop it. I have a stream in an hour. No, in 48 minutes. And the guy I'm streaming with, he doesn't know this yet because I haven't told him. But I have a
Is he on
plumber on the
stream?
way to my house right now. And I'm not sure how this is all going to work out yet, but we'll figure it out.
You have a what?
Oh,
A plumber.
Who's your
Plumber.
guest?
Oh,
Who's my what?
Who's your guest on your stream?
Not a guest, co-host. Dave.
Oh, David.
Yeah.
Never mind. I saw
we go.
the.
I was trying to
Okay.
be funny because he's here. It didn't work clearly.
well, he had to step away for a bit.
That's why it was funny.
Yeah.
Then you could come back and be like, I heard you. And then I'd be like, oh, my bad.
so is there a problem with your pipe?
Huh?
Is there a problem with your pipe?
Oh,
Well,
I
Hal,
think
what are you doing? You're supposed to be preparing for our stream.
Well, you know what? As soon as you send me the notes, I will definitely start preparing for this.
Yeah, I don't have them yet. She said that she could get them to us by 7:30. I was like, sweet, we'll do an 8 p.m. stream.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I was telling them I've got a plumber. Actually, some of you may remember Chris the plumber. He's appeared in previous streams, actually. He's on his way to the house to snake the drains. It's I don't know what's going on.
Is that what they call it
Good
nowadays?
times.
Yeah.
You gonna get your drain snaked?
Starting to drain real slow. I'm not sure what's
I
up.
do.
Well, that's a different.
Val, it comes with age. And,
Yeah. Faucet's dripping a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotta get her tightened up.
Gotta do a few more shakes of it.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. I don't. But because sometimes in the US, your entire setup with sewers and stuff is a bit weird for us Europeans.
Well,
Because
We
you
have
use-
septic.
yeah, I live
Yeah,
in the middle of
because
nowhere.
My
I
you
mom
have
has septic.
Yeah, well, I do. This farm had a septic, but it was connected to the county source or whatever you call it.
yeah,
so,
there's no
and
pipes
I-
out here.
Yeah, and I have the pipes I installed into the house. I ordered. Our standard is, I believe it's 7 inches.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
You use inches.
because yeah. So I mean, that's just to well,
Oh, God.
not indoors. I mean,
Okay.
but from the house and out, just
Yeah.
to make sure that no clogs and no nothing and everything.
I think
Uh,
I think our outlet's like a 4-inch, maybe
Yeah.
even a 3.
I think that's what mine is.
We have a
That's-
4 that goes to the septic.
It might be 4.
Yeah, and yes, Matt, really rural Sweden still use septic tanks.
Well, we still use them in America in some places.
yeah.
I mean, my mom
Yeah.
lives like 20 minutes from me. And
Yeah, we also have the 3-part chamber stuff.
Like a
Whatever it's
kind of
called.
system?
What?
Like a cistern system?
Well, it's underground 3-part. It goes into one, then into another. Something of
Okay.
that sort. I don't know how it works. I'm not a plumber.
Yes.
Well,
like
you know what we
not-
should do? We should continue talking about sewage and septic
yeah.
systems. That's what we should do.
yeah, this is, it's a great topic for this stream.
right? Pips.
Well,
So yeah, Chris the plumber's on his way over.
Speaking
So
of
hopefully that
sewage,
goes
I'll be
smooth.
streaming tomorrow after Jody.
yeah.
Sam, you gonna cover that lady from North Dakota?
Me?
The who?
Yeah, the one that's trying to steal your boy's thunder.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be really interesting.
What are we
Yeah,
talking
this
about?
She,
this lady in North
Anna
Dakota antifreezed her boyfriend because she thought he was getting a big
30
inheritance.
million.
Turns out it doesn't look like there's any inheritance money at all either.
That sucks. That sucks for both people.
That went bad quickly for her.
I mean, it kind of went bad quickly for him, but
Oh,
It's already
Yeah,
up to
so she's
$15 in
in-
antifreeze.
yeah.
Ow. Your murder mittens are not. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I have a question for the plumbing talk. How long is the queue? I don't know what that means.
What?
what is the
David
cue?
Nielsen.
What? I don't know what that means.
The line? How
Uh,
long's the line?
Hmm.
Did you
But I-
call a line like a drain line a queue?
I have no idea. I'm not
Yeah.
that.
Or is it like
handy.
QAnon?
No, queue. Okay.
Yeah.
Americans, a queue is a line.
Yeah.
Are you telling
Right.
me? 100%.
Yeah. Well, I
Oh.
mean, but I don't know if that's what he's asking.
Yeah. And Pixie, coincidentally, that is why women have such a difficulty parking, because you have learned from teenage years that this is 7 inches.
Oh, this is 8 inches.
Yes, but as discussed in Discord earlier, some men have to exaggerate downward. You know.
Yes.
Exaggerate downward?
Yes. It's a
You know.
problem.
I missed that talk.
You want to intimidate them.
Exactly. You know. You don't want to scare them away when before stuff gets good.
Sure, Jan.
If I want a 7-inch, I fold it in half. Ba-dum-tsh. That's so stupid.
That was good.
Are you drunk?
No, not yet. I'm working on it.
Are you doing a fundraiser for Zachariah, by the way?
Tomorrow. I think.
Yeah, starting tomorrow. Sorry, Sal. I forgot you were doing it.
It's
So
okay.
I queued it up after
No
Jody.
worries.
Because
No, it's like an hour after Jody, isn't it? Or is it right after?
It's whenever you start yours. That's when it is.
I thought it was an
Yeah,
hour
he's
after.
scheduled right when you start yours.
No, 8:30 p.m. my time. That is 3.
Yeah.
3:30. Yeah, it's at 3:30.
So that's
So yeah, it's like an hour after.
hour and a
Yeah.
half of
Okay.
Jensen.
Yeah.
So no worries.
And
There's
it
Chris
is
the plumber.
it's a why do
she keep going?
why
off
do Feral keeps disappearing at the exact same time as somebody else disappears?
Jeez.
No, I'm having a dual fundraiser tomorrow. One for Zachariah Anderson, and then for Ian Runkle's Extra Life for the Children's Hospital.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to see Ian eat banana on his pizza. So
That sounds gross.
because you can't threaten Ian with heat or weird foods, but the consistency of the food, that might get him. And soggy, warm banana on a pizza, that's an acquired taste. That not,
Yum.
Why would you do banana on a pizza? That just sounds gross.
Well, Sweden, some of the pizzerias has pineapple, banana,
Oh.
peanut, curry powder pizza.
What?
Yeah,
Banana, pineapple, peanut, and curry powder on a pizza.
yeah.
That's all kinds of stuff that doesn't go together.
Well,
Or
it's
on a
kind of
pizza.
yeah. I mean, they kind of sells, and see if I can find it now. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, is Oppenheimer out now? Can we stream that?
Is
No,
it on Amazon?
I can pirate it in Minecraft.
I don't think you're supposed to admit to that. Sal. I think
Yeah,
that's
you're
a
not
federal
supposed to say that
offense,
out loud. You
actually.
said the inside stuff out loud, Salvador.
FBI, open up!
I'm already worried about the Hillary Clinton jokes I made.
Yikes.
You probably should be.
Yeah.
I don't
Let's
want
see
to pre-order it. When's it out? November 21st. That movie came out, like Barbie movie is already out. And it came out the same weekend. How can I stream Barbie movie and not Oppenheimer? Oh, watch the fucking
Are
Barbie
you
movie.
are you really gonna stream the Barbie movie in Discord?
No, I wanted to
No,
watch
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. But my point is that they came out in theaters the same weekend. But the Barbie movie you can currently stream. Why can't I stream Oppenheimer?
Didn't Mo go to the Barbie movie?
I think she did. I wanted to go to the Barbie movie to do a critical review of it, and then I just didn't care enough to.
Realized it was a
Follow
restraining
him.
order.
Valhalla, you want to go see the Barbie movie with me?
No, I wouldn't see it with my wife. I'm not going to see it with you.
Boy, she'd be mad if you did.
Oh, she'd be so mad. Maybe. She might be excited because she got to go see it again.
Did she
No,
like
you
it?
can't let her go with you.
She
This
did
is a
like
me
it.
and David date. You can't go.
Yeah, then she'd be mad. Then she'd be real mad. She said it was a fun movie. She said it was funny. I mean, it's
I
Barbie.
want to watch that Amber Turd movie that made $21,000, but I don't want to pay for it.
Either did
I don't want to
anybody
add to that $21,000, take home gross revenue.
DM me.
Well, here you have a Swedish pizza menu. Hold on, where is it?
Oh,
And
okay, I can do
route down here. It's called the Hawaii number 16 ham, pineapple, banana curry.
that. That's the worst thing to ever happen. to Hawaii.
Banana. Why
You know, most
banana?
pizzerias in Sweden are owned and operated by foreigners, though.
Yeah,
Oh.
most of it. Yeah.
Do you guys get a
And,
lot of fresh bananas in Sweden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's imported not enormous cargo ships with unripe banana, and then they store it until they are ripe, and then they sell it. So we are a banana-eating people.
All right.
Ooh, fancy.
I mean, I'm down for the rest of that pizza, but not the banana.
Now, what else kind of weird thing we have here? Yeah, this is
American pan pizza.
Yeah, because the Al Capone is chicken, leek, garlic, and paprika. Because nothing says Al Capone, the famous as chicken. And yeah, I mean, sometimes the name of the pizzas does not reflect the stuff. I mean, yeah.
Is
What, do you not
curry
pay
big in
taxes on it?
Hawaii?
Yeah, the Miami ham.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the same as Hawaii. Ham, pineapple, banana curry is the same as Hawaii. Ham, pineapple, banana
They're getting a lot of
curry.
mileage on the menu.
Outstanding.
Are the
Yep.
prices the same?
Small.
If I order a Miami, is it the same price as a Hawaii?
That's
No.
silly.
This is the pan pizza with the thick
Oh, okay.
crust.
Oh,
This is thin crust. The thin crust is called a Hawaii, and the thick crust is called a Miami, because why not? Then you have the
Thin
Texas, and nothing says Texas like shrimp, gorgonzola cheese, paprika, and salami.
What?
Yeah.
Like what?
None of those are Texas flavors.
Was it Pete Buttigieg from Texas? He
No,
likes
is
to
he?
hide the salami.
Thank you, Merce Turf, gifting 5 memberships.
Heck yeah,
And,
Murph.
and Jessica Bay gifted 1, and she also became a new member. And EU, hi.
Hi, excited.
Yeah, I think I sent EU the link.
Yeah, she
For
said
more
she
septic tank,
tried to
become a
earlier.
member. Yeah, you could do a member stream of a visual,
Yeah, it'll be a members only.
tour
show.
of your septic tank.
Gross.
But I'll have to
Uh,
do it when you're not streaming because now you share.
Let me say who was gifted memberships: Alexel Muted, Rachel Hope, Irish, Tiana, Just Dawn, Viridian Law Nerd, and Shelleygram. Yay, Shelleygram! Oh, that means that Shelleygram can now get access to my Discord. Oh my god.
Now you're in trouble.
Yes, so thank you for the gifted memberships. And most of you have already been, so it's just renewed. But I think Shelleygram is the first. Who got
I need a
first.
beer.
Yeah, I kind of need.
Sorry.
But I need. What else can be?
Say loud.
The Chicago pizza is minced meat, tomato, paprika, garlic, and Tabasco. Because why not?
Up into the Tabasco, it was
Minced
okay.
meat.
Yeah.
What do you minced meat? Just
Hmm.
random pieces of animal thrown in
Yeah, but why is that? Why is it? Oh, okay. Maybe I see why that's Chicago.
Hey, how are calzones in Sweden are really good. I don't know why. They're so much better than at least the ones in Sweden where I get them. They're better than the American ones. The calzones are really good. They have the shredded cabbage that you get with them and stuff. Really good.
Okay, yeah, ground beef.
That wouldn't necessarily
Was-
be that.
Now they say it's ground beef.
Oh.
Is there an Aussie
Whatever.
pizza on the menu? It serves like kangaroo meat.
There's no
I don't
such
know.
thing as Australia. Stop it.
Can you eat
That's-
kangaroo?
Hi,
Yeah.
Jamie.
And,
Hi,
Yeah,
Jamie.
I've seen kangaroo meat for sale and at restaurants and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen once in a while, even up here, they sell kangaroo fillets
Yeah.
of sorts, and
Now-
Pixie
it's
says no. She's the only one in Australia. Well, no, she's not the only one, but
Well,
she's
no,
saying no. And like the Swedes and the Americans are saying, "Oh yeah, we eat it all the time."
They definitely eat it.
As said, they eat it. Yeah.
I
Also,
think
They're
it's like really
muscular.
greasy or something, isn't it?
No, they're like
I
it's
have no
all
idea.
muscle. So you have to, I think,
Mm.
do like a slow cook.
It's like it's a real red meat too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Oh,
Yeah.
MG is here in chat. Welcome, MG.
Well, they're all
Yeah.
over the
He's
place.
preparing to
MG.
start his stream at midnight.
yeah, and MG has the link as well if he cares to join.
Started at midnight and end it right before I go to lunch.
Yep, that's what he does.
Mm. The only thing that might be you have opera because I don't know Opera House, and that is ham and tuna.
That's
Ham
weird.
and tuna.
There's weird combinations in
Why
this
would you
pizza.
put ham and tuna together ever?
But most Swedish pizzas has ham, shredded ham, as a base. You tomato sauce, shredded ham, and then you add the different toppings. And,
Why can't there just be a pizza is this amount and just list the possible ingredients with a like
Build your own.
you know, $2 for this particular topping, $1 for this.
Like
particular
we do it
topping.
here, where it's normal.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be a derivative of the Texas style pizza. It is
Let's not mention Texas.
filet,
Has
ox
leek.
filet, tomato, paprika, onion, and sauce béarnaise.
Ox fillet?
Yeah.
Huh.
Bull, I know, the ox fillet, which is beef fillet. I don't know. This is what they claim it is. It's not certain. It may all of it might be horse or donkey. I don't know.
Mm.
I hear horse meat's actually.
Yes, I agree, Jamie. Chicken Bacon Ranch is the best pizza.
Chicken bacon ranch.
No, gross. All right, this is the best pizza. This is what you get. Instead of the tomato sauce, you get an olive oil or an olive oil garlic sauce. Then you get pepperoni, bacon, black olives, green olives, and the cheese. That's the best.
Shut your
pizza.
whore mouth.
That sounds.
You're right, David.
horrible.
That is
Why
the
would
best.
you do that to yourself?
But
Hey,
we have
Valhalla,
some.
you're going live in 30 minutes.
Yeah, you are too. You are too.
We might not have notes, but we're going live.
We're going live.
We're doing it live.
Nothing to talk about, but we're gonna go live.
Let's see.
Love that.
Yeah. Oh, you have the super calzone, which is teafort, which is translated to the UFO. You have one thin crust, calzone topping, and then another crust on top of it. So it's a double pizza.
But it's got ham and cheese. It's like the standard.
Yeah, ham and
calzone.
cheese.
At least the places that I go in Sweden. It's so
Yeah.
good. And it comes with the shredded cabbage. It's like salt and pepper on it. I don't know what maybe
It's,
vinegar is with it.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of a hot pocket, Dave?
Yeah, it's a hot pocket
Yeah, it's a hot pocket.
They're pretty
with
good.
cabbage.
They're pretty good.
Why can't you just be normal and like pepperoni and Italian sausage? That's it.
let's see if we have that somewhere.
Am I the only one kind of freaking out that I can read like half the menu?
Right?
You can make it out, kind of. I mean, it's all
Mhm.
from Latin.
Is there a Valhalla? No, that's not Valhalla. 51. I
That
thought
would
was
be
Valhalla.
that'd be awesome.
Valtellina, which is rucola, bresaola, parmesan, and olive oil.
See,
What
that
are
actually
those
would be
first
good.
That sounds like a
things?
good one.
That
I'd
actually
order the
sounds good.
Valhalla pizza.
Is Contarel carrots? 50.
No,
Asparagus.
chanterelle mushroom.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
you're way off, Sal.
I know.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, words don't make sense in Swedish.
Mm.
If you try to, they're like that
Really?
sounds like night, and it means like God bless you or something.
Wait,
it
so
doesn't
they
make
aren't
any
like
sense.
based off
Hmm.
Latin?
They're all Germanic, so it has no
North-
base in Latin.
No, North Germanic languages has very few common words with
Interesting.
What's
Latin.
26?
26.
Very top.
Bacon.
Primavera.
Primavera.
Bacon,
Primavera.
Champion
mushrooms,
stuff.
onion, and eggs.
Eggs.
Eggs?
So breakfast
Egg,
pizza.
What is
Yeah,
Kaikling?
more or less. And this is just lazy. Pomodoro, freshly sliced tomatoes. So it's cheese,
Fresh
tomato
tomato
sauce,
pizza.
and freshly sliced tomatoes.
Not even sun dried? Lazy.
No, just fresh.
Mexican Acapulco.
Yeah, but what you do is that you just before you put it in the oven, you crack an egg over it, and then in,
Wow.
and then when it gets out, the yolk is slightly runny.
That is the weirdest
My
thing
wife
I've ever
loves her
heard.
eggs too. Even our hard-boiled eggs, they're like soft-boiled. They're slightly runny yolk. That must be a Swedish thing.
Yolks are good. Who doesn't like egg yolk?
Divorcer.
Oh, I don't.
like
I don't.
breakfast
No, it's
pizza,
fine,
but I've never had it that way.
He said divorcer. Oh, Salbert. You lovable little weirdo, you.
I am.
Them are some. Is that the prices?
Yeah,
What
that's
does it translate to?
10
you
bucks.
just 80 Swedish
Free
krona is about $7.
Mm.
Oh God.
Yeah,
You
but
don't have any
this
chicken?
this menu must be 5 or 6 years old because I don't
Yeah.
know a pizza place that has any pizza below $10 nowadays.
God. Damn,
That's
Joe
so
Biden.
cheap.
God damn it.
That's super cheap.
Yeah, but we don't sell pizza slices like you do in the USA. It's a whole pizza.
Most
And
well,
We usually sell pizzas. Like you can get like
yeah,
by
like
the
a
slice
gas
place
station will
on
do like a
occasion, yeah.
slice.
But that's not like
Costco
the
or New York, but that's
Mm.
about it.
yeah.
I think it's almost $4
the-
for a slice of pizza here locally.
That
I wanna
better be
see
a
if I can
delicious
find,
giant slice of pizza.
It's like $20 just for a small one, like with delivery and everything.
Let's see if I can find a somewhat more recent.
Why does the pepperoni pizza have 5 ingredients?
Where?
Down in the bottom right, the very
Number
bottom
7.
right, number 7.
Oh, that's
Oh
it.
yeah.
Ground beef, pepperonis, onion, mushrooms, and tomato.
And that's a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, pepperoni pizza here is pepperoni and pepperoni.
That's it. That's all you get on a pepperoni pizza. Oh, that's funny.
But let's see if we have another pepperoni. Must have something else. But one of the ones I normally use is the quattro formaggio. It's 4 different kind of cheese: mozzarella, feta, gorgonzola, and parmesan. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
Is that-
it's bread, tomato, and a fuckload of cheese. I mean,
Can't go wrong with that.
no, you
You guys are
really
making me
can't.
hungry. I'm gonna go make something now. I'm like grilled cheese
Corn
with
pizza?
salami.
Sounds good.
Mm.
I actually
Yeah,
have leftover pizza in the fridge.
Okay,
right
now I just made myself really hungry for that. I'm gonna do grilled cheese and salami.
And put some bananas on there.
Oh,
Yeah, no, thank you.
Have a good night,
that-
David.
Good night,
Enjoy your
David.
dinner.
Thank you. Yes, I'm gonna eat something and then hopefully have notes, and we'll be live at 8. And then if Nick's still going, we'll jump back over here.
Well,
Shouldn't be a long stream. I did time out. I did edit our notes from day 1, which were like 25 pages. There was about 45 minutes of us talking, so it should be a fairly short stream.
Dang, she took some serious notes.
Oh
I know.
yeah, she did.
Oh, yeah,
And they are
she's
all
awesome.
in my Discord as
I
well.
know.
If you guys want to
As
check
good
it
as the notes I take in court.
once you figure out her shorthand, it gets way easier to read too. It takes a minute to adjust.
She let us know who was a hottie.
Yeah. Did she?
out. Yeah,
say
she didn't
defense-
talk about who was
Yeah.
attractive and who she made eye contact with.
Well, okay,
and-
you did not see the defense attorney of Michael Turney. I'm sorry. She was a cutie. She was up.
She's taking her role very seriously, unlike
Salvador
somebody.
sent me. I'm going to tell him, Salvador. He sent me a message. He's like, I think I need to improve my court note taking skills. I was like, yeah, maybe just a little.
A little bit.
And of
But
course, she had to
did
get
the
it directed-
defendant turn around and look at her?
Well, no, yeah, he came in and winked at me, or smiled. Sorry, I don't want to exaggerate. He smiled at me.
It would have been
Yeah.
way better if you would have winked at him.
Oh, Sal.
We
He was
kind of
looking at
forgot-
the cutie next to Sal, but he took it personal.
Yeah, but we can forgot to tell Sal that if he sits down behind the defendant, you're on his side, especially
Well-
if it's nobody else there.
I would explain some things.
Oh, I totally would. I don't care.
I always sit
Whoop.
behind the defendant.
Yeah.
Sal was
Sal
sitting
was
in the
doodling.
pew directly in front of the defendant's dad. He wasn't smiling at you, Sal. It's like that person that's waving at you, and you start waving, and then turn around and see that there's somebody else that they clearly know behind you, and you're like, oh.
Hey, you gotta
So I
give his
refuse to
defense-
acknowledge people on the street. I just assume they're waving at someone else.
I know. They're always talking in their Bluetooth. They're not talking to you.
I had to
Yeah.
admit, you had to give his attorney a hand. He did a great job.
Oh,
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.
I'll see you
too.
shortly,
Hi,
sir.
David.
All right. Bye.
Later, brother.
Oh. By the way, just sharing, this is how that. Dun, dun, dun. This is a
no.
pineapple, banana, curry powder, ham pizza look like.
That
I'm not
looks
down with the banana.
so bizarre.
Yeah, it does.
I wouldn't willingly
I'm
eat
not
that.
down with that.
No.
No, but that is why tomorrow's fundraising stream is dual, both for Zachariah Anderson, but also trying to get Ian Ronco to have banana on his pizza. Because in his fundraiser tomorrow, he will, depending on what the fundraiser does, and people write down, this is what we want this is what we want you to have on your pizza. And I've been yelling at him banana, but he can't find a pizzeria who has banana on pizza in Canada. Understandable. But
I don't
here's the
think you
thing,
could find
Ian,
one in
you
North
buy a
American-
banana, you slice it, and then you put the banana slices in the microwave for 30 seconds, so it's all soggy. Then you put that on the pizza.
Most of you eat fruit on your pizza all the time. Tomatoes are
Tomato
fruit.
is a fruit.
Is that a
It's
vegetable?
not the same thing as a banana, though.
No.
You weirdo.
Oh, I know, but no fruit, no fruit. Tomato is a fruit.
Oh,
I
sorry.
don't even mind a Hawaiian pizza, to be honest. I'll eat it.
I like
if
Hawaiian
I have
pizza.
to. Yeah, it's
We'll be
whatever.
back in a second.
I wouldn't, choose it, but if it's available,
Yeah.
that's all I got. No big
I
deal.
always get
what-
CBR, but I'll eat
What's
Hawaiian.
on your the US Hawaiian pizza? Is it pineapple?
Canadian
Ham,
bacon or
Canadian
ham
bacon.
and pineapple and tomato sauce and cheese.
But no banana.
No banana. I don't think I've.
I usually have them add banana pepper to it.
You
Yeah,
can
but
do that.
banana has that. It's not even an acquired taste. It's the consistency of warm banana, fried banana on a banana as a dessert. Yeah, fried. Then you have a bit of a crust. You have what do you call it? You pour
Brown
some brown sugar, and then you flambe it and
Mm.
stuff like that. Then it's amazing.
Ye-
Warm sliced banana on a pizza. The consistency is spongy but wet.
I've had it
No.
at Brazilian steakhouses. The like
Mm.
fried bananas and
Oh,
pretty good.
I mean, you have a banana, you slice it in half, you fry it, you have the brown sugar so it melts, then a bit of alcohol, flambe, then on a plate, 2 scoops of ice cream, whipped cream, and then some fudge on top of it. Oh, for freak's sake.
It was pretty good at the Brazilian place. The
Yeah.
whatever the hell it's called, the little Brazilian steakhouse where they just
They do that where you get waxed.
stop it.
That is what you when you get. No, I'm not going there.
By the way, that is the single most expensive dinner I've ever purchased in my entire life. We
really?
went for Mrs. Valhalla's birthday a couple of years ago. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, I'd rather go to a buffet than a la carte restaurant. But sometimes when there are a few restaurants in the south of Sweden, yeah, it's freaking expensive. Like just to sit down, we're talking $100 just to fucking sit down to get served, and then you have the food, the paired wine, and stuff like that. But easily, a dinner of 4, we're talking about maybe $1,000.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
but
justify
then
Right?
it's
No.
more. Then it's more.
I would go outside and headbutt a car until I eventually got taken to the hospital instead of paying for a $250 for myself dinner. There's no way I would do that.
Yeah, but I had maybe 6 or 7 years ago, after we had a huge win, we went to one of these places, and this was more of a 12-15 course tasting dinners where the chef actually more or less, this oversized spoon, and then they just add some stuff together that shouldn't be together. And it was, I mean,
So you paid $1,000 for hors d'oeuvres?
Well, but there's 15 of them.
yeah,
Oh, nope.
like sun-dried tomato with some weird olive that has been whatever you call it, and then repurposed or whatever it's called, and then something on top of that, and a salad leaf, but nothing tasted as the ingredient, and it was so weird, and still so amazingly. This is what do you call it? This micro chef things that you watch on Iron Chef and stuff like that. And they add smoke to your, your drink. And the experience, we sat there for 2.5 hours.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so
The experience would
that's
be cool, but I ain't paying for that.
yeah, but I didn't.
I was gonna say, I'd let Nicholas take me to one of these fancy dinners.
Right? Nick Valhalla and I are on our way over. You can take us out.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was one of these. Didn't expect this win at all. Everything said, this is fucked up. We are going to, but then I can't. I do not speak about it. But it was somehow we got that negotiation together and got a win out of it. So, and then my boss said, "Okay, we won unexpectedly. Let's go somewhere unexpectedly," and she paid for it.
That's fun.
And yeah.
This dog stinks so bad right now, y'all.
Yeah, I think Pixie, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time.
What are you doing, Sal?
No, I just
Is
got
what?
some new evidence. Or not evidence, but I got a document list for some.
What are you
exhibits for-
investigating, Sal?
Do you see his face? It must be. Is it the beans?
No.
Sal's European collection. He got the message that we are soon at your door.
No, the Kenosha court clerk. Will you stop asking about peens?
That poor woman.
No, this was the
Right?
Rittenhouse exhibits.
Oh.
Yeah. And by the way, Young Thug will probably start on the 27th of November. And when that starts, it's 6 months of trial for me to cover.
I thought
But
they
they're
already
down-
did that.
No,
No, that was
you-
just jury duty.
that was
Jury
just jury
selection.
duty.
Oh, that's right.
Jury
Is that
selection.
the one where the judge was assigning papers to a bunch of people?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were getting in trouble for things, and he was assigning them to write papers.
Yeah.
I do remember that, actually.
The
He told them to
import-
buy the other side lunch.
Yeah,
that's
by
great.
the
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
by the rest of the lawyers' lunch and stuff like that. And there you had a jury that was
She went
had
on
to spend
vacation
four
after
four
showing
hours. Yeah, he sent her off to a day for contempt because she videotaped the rest of the
Oh, yeah.
jury. Yeah,
And
bad
there was
idea.
one juror that
Oh, I would have left.
went to jury duty the first day, then didn't show up again because she went on vacation. So the bailiff
Al, I
met
think you need
her.
to turn your mic up, buddy.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, it's fine. I'm sorry. Why didn't anyone tell me? Gosh, it's awkward now.
They just did.
Right?
Thank you. Anyway, so like the juror
That's better.
shows up at the airport after leaving the country, comes back, and the bailiffs are there, arrest her, and thank you, Mads. She had to write a 30-page paper with like sources and citations about what it means like to be a juror and why it's important.
Yeah,
I want those papers. They've got
Oh, and
they've got to be somewhere, right?
I looked for when it happened. It would be.
I
Really
know. I
funny.
tried to look too. That would be a fun read.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and she has to show up like the first 5 days of trial.
Even though she's not a jury.
Yeah.
For the full day.
Yeah, she can choose to show up the five first days, or spend 5 days in
Yeah. Jail.
a slammer.
That sounds
going
like
on.
lawsuit territory for some reason.
I
The
don't think so.
the judge has a huge discretion when it comes to the penalties for contempt of court.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do you have a fish tank in the background?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
sitting on the
55?
floor. It's a 125.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
couldn't
I
tell
used
from
to have a
that.
210. I had a
Really?
big saltwater predator tank.
I had a 120 salt reef and 125 freshwater.
I've had a couple of 125 reefs. The smallest reef I ever built was a 29 gallon, and that thing was
Oh,
dope.
damn. Nice.
But
Yeah.
that's going to be a turtle tank. I cleaned up the crap in there, and I got to build the standstill. And
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can
But-
breed these weird turtles.
Yeah, and the Young Thug trial, they're down to 6 defendants. Now
Do they
another
all have lawyers?
Are they pleading out or
No.
what?
yeah, 22 people has either been dismissed or pled out. There were 28 of them to begin with in this.
Or weren't they just
re-
separated, some of them? So they're still going
That's
to
what's
be
left.
tried.
I'm
No,
not
that's
sure.
what's left to be tried.
Yeah, there's 6 left to be tried in the RICO, and
okay.
the other 22 has been dismissed from the RICO or pled out through the charges. But it's still a 6-month at least.
Really?
I think the judge will limit it to 6 months, but
That's
Shouldn't it be-
ridiculous.
Shouldn't it be
Yeah.
shorter? So few, or like
Yeah.
a lot less.
well, the charges are still the same and the witnesses are still the same, even though the
Okay.
defendants are fewer. And now a bunch of them will testify. And
Oh,
all of this is the RICO is these are all crimes allegedly that weren't enough to prosecute by themselves. So they chose RICO to have everything in together, because the murder charge from 2014. I mean, the prosecutor at the time just no, there's no evidence, and now all of a sudden it's on the table again because it's a RICO, and that's
Why? What jury is gonna pay attention for 6 months of testimony?
OJ's dead.
9 months.
No,
Time.
did they?
Wow.
Well, they kind of had to because they
They were sequestered. They didn't get a whole lot of other options.
yeah.
Right, like, but how long did it didn't take them very long to do their thing? Like, they
No.
were just get us the hell
There was a lot
outta
of black
here.
people on the jury, and
Yeah.
so
Sal.
I'm not saying it is a bad thing. I'm just saying like,
There's nowhere good to go with the rest of that.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean it like that. I just because they
Mm.
never mind. I'm gonna shut
Yeah.
up now.
Well,
did not
hopefully
mean it
me
bad.
and AV7 can do some collab on this RICO trial, because she's been following the Young Thug as well. So we can share or dual stream or do half and half.
Shut up, Mads.
mornings and yeah, so we can collab on that trial because 6 months is a lot. But we are
That's
talking.
dedication.
We are trying to. We are always email, and then I got an email from her 5 days ago, and then I replied to it. So we are always kind of in between. But she's still an active lawyer. I still have my stuff to do. So yeah, it's not easy to get everything put together. Do you have Aussie turtles?
I do have Aussie turtles.
Every
Sal was pulling a Mo, Jamie.
They're Google them real quick if you want to. They're pink belly side neck turtles. They're really cool. Mrs. Valhalla, when we first got together, wanted turtles, and I put it off for like 10 years.
I like turtles.
And then I let her get like whatever turtle she wanted. So she picked these out. They're really cool looking.
I like turtles.
The kid was so cool.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah, they are in like the northeast part of Australia, I believe. They're freshwater. They're in the rivers and lakes and stuff. They're cool. They're cool. I actually have a video of them on my channel if you want to go look. I think it's a 5 or 6 minute video of them swimming around in their little tank when they were babies. It's there.
Aww.
Yeah, it's not a great video or anything.
well, hey,
What's up, y'all?
What up? I thought you were
Kaiser.
taking the night off.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not doing any content. I'm still got a little bit of a frog in the throat, but
You sound much better than you did the other night.
I feel a lot better, except for the allergic reaction I'm having.
Content. We don't do that here.
So allergic reactions. Yeah, not a good thing though.
No.
I have to go. I have like 5
Oh.
minutes, I think.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. you
Bye,
can-
Val.
I still haven't
Bye,
gotten
Val.
but
Something I
I'll be
said.
back.
I know.
Gotta go
I always
back.
show up and you run away. That's the way it is.
Kaiser, that's not like the it's
I know. I was just kidding.
He does need
Guys-
to, Jamie. He
Yeah.
needs to make a gang of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
That would be
Kaiser,
cool.
you had the stream the other week about the
Origin of
me-
Halloween.
origins of Halloween. I was kind of thinking about the old Norse sagas where
Mhm.
they originated, and the stories about both fire and ice.
Mm-hmm.
And so those more speculative sources about the ice giants and everything around that. And so I have seen, look, now we do know from the old Norse gods that there are runes that are from some rune stones are believed to be first that when they were calculated it was around the 6th century but now some of them might be a lot older,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not talking about maybe around the birth of Christ. We might talk about
Way older.
way older. Now,
Yeah, that's one of
purely
the weird things.
speculative because it's hard
Yeah.
to carbon track. I mean, granite.
Carbon
It's
date, yeah.
very, very hard. But there are some similarities that between these really ancient runes and some of the things that you can see in the Faroe Islands,
Yep.
which are much older.
Far older.
Yeah. So where these stories originate, there are so few words and very hard to translate. But the word of mouth stories, I mean, Australian Aborigines, we know these word of mouth stories are thousands and thousands and those. When you have the tradition, we don't have that tradition anymore, so it's hard for us to comprehend.
Oral
From
histories. Yes.
oral histories, how many generations those actually can stay somewhat true, because it's not the whisper game. There's
Right.
people whose only designation in life is to learn the stories
Yes.
and pass it on to the next generation.
And think about how much, like, a lot of these people who are in charge of these things, like these shamans and whatnot, they are in charge. They are like lore keepers of these ancient stories, and they are required by their tribal law to be able to recite them word for word exactly without any embellishment or change. They have to be literally able to recite them in their sleep.
Yeah.
They are that important.
Yeah.
What's
And there
really
is
cool.
and there will always
Yeah.
be somebody. If you have, okay, now we pass it on to the next one. Yeah, but you will always have the same kind of people in that transition that heard it from the person before and now the new person. And if that new person tries to change anything, oh no.
That's
no.
punishable by death. Mhm.
Yeah. And the similarity, because up north there are a lot of ice giants. The ice giants, the world will perish in ice and fire and ice, but most of it is cold ice, because, well, of course, we're close to the Arctic Circle.
Right.
When you go down to the Mediterranean, the same stories are slightly different. Not as much ice anymore. More water.
A lot more fire.
Lot more
Water
fire.
and fire.
Yeah. And the original, it's all speculative because we simply don't know. But it's amazing how, because if everything was made up, every story would have been about water and fire. But it isn't.
Yep.
It changes depending where in the North America you are, where in the South Americas you are, North Europe, South Europe. It all changes but it's all originates from that coal layer.
Yeah, that one black mat layer dated around between 11,600 to 12,800 years ago, right at the end of the Younger Dryas. And what's really fascinating is that you have two gigantic meltwater spikes at the beginning of the Younger Dryas and the end of the Younger Dryas, 1,200 years basically of bombardment hell on Earth, in which about 50% of the human population on the planet was just wiped out. At least, as far as we know, like upwards of 75% of the megafauna in North America was wiped out. So much of this. I mean, they want to sit there and, I mean, everybody wants to say that, you know, like academia wants to basically put out there that, oh, well, mammoths were just hunted to extinction. Do you have any idea how hard it would be with sticks and arrows just to take down a friggin' mammoth? Not to mention, and I mean, let's even just take it on like a sick one. You're talking about an animal that is like 5 to 6 tons or more, and you're also talking about how much of that would actually be able to be used. Because I mean, you're only able to eat and so much and use so much of the animal due to predation and basically putrefaction, decomp. All of that.
And once you take it down, you have all the scavengers who will kill humans to get to the carcass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the case of that one mammoth that we talked about on that stream, this mammoth was found buried in permafrost. It was so fresh, the flesh was still marbled. There were still flowering plants in its mouth and stomach that had not been digested or begun to putrefy. This mammoth shows evidence, like very clear evidence, that it basically suffocated to death and it was thrown to the ground. Its hips were broken. What can throw a 6-ton mammoth to the ground? Well, there's very few things that can actually do that, one of which might be a very large scale airburst explosion. And what's crazy is that they just in 2018 they found the first physical evidence besides the black mat layer and a lot of the other, the bones and stuff. They found impact proxies. They found actual proof of impact in the black mat layer, and they found a crater beneath the ice sheets in Greenland.
Yeah.
They
what, like an
finally got
explosion?
one.
Yeah. And one of the
1,200
things
years, basically, Sal. 1,200 years, our planet was being bombarded by asteroids and meteorites. And where this comes from is that we pass through a stream of comet debris twice a year in June and November and late October, early November, the Taurid meteor stream, which, near as we can tell, science has basically been able to kind of reel back the celestial clock and be like, hey, it looks like some planetoid, basically like a small moon that was just dust, debris, and ice, came through our solar system, got jacked out of the Kuiper Belt and thrown through our solar system. It broke up, and then we got caught in the debris field. And so, we just kept running through it between June, July, or right through at the end of June, and then right through like that one period of time. The evidence, the actual evidence is staggering. And I mean, that's some future stuff we're going to talk about on Edge of Reality, like Robert Schoch's work on the Sphinx, where they've been able to look at a lot of the erosion on the Sphinx and determine that a lot of the erosion is not due to wind, it's due to water. And the last time that there was enough water to cause that much erosion was about 12,000 years ago.
Mm. Yeah, and speaking of, with that mammoth, what could possibly have buried that mammoth that fast? Now, impact crater, a lot of heat, a lot of water, steam, everything. The further away, what will happen? Well, whatever that shockwave pushes will be liquefied, but still not liquefied. So
basically turns into a mudslide.
Or an ice tsunami.
Wow.
I gotta go, Nick.
Yeah.
Have a good stream.
Hi, Farrell.
Bye.
Now imagine this, but 400 feet high.
Yeah. Icebergs the size of oil tankers.
Yeah. So this is just an ice tsunami because of wind. I mean, yeah. So I just want so I don't get demonetized. They will do it anyways. I know it. I mean, this is physics. Yeah. If this crater, and they date it around that time, boom, steam, fire, everything. Further away, you have that ring. Ring effect. Ring. Why don't
ring.
Yeah, but it always pushes something in front of it. And what was in front of it? Ice. And that's one of the weird things when you check the retraction of the ice sheath in the Nordic countries are not northbound. They're east to westbound. So something came that way and then retracted. Isn't that weird? Because you would imagine if something was retracted up to the North Pole, everything should go north. And it doesn't. Yeah. It goes east-westbound.
Yep. And yeah, a lot of people point to the question of, okay, well, why don't we have, I mean, if we have very limited amounts of information on this time period because we didn't really have, as far as we know now, we don't have written history. All we have is the oral histories handed down. Here's the fun part. Because when you really think about it, with how much the size of the ice caps, the northern and southern poles ice caps were at that time, like the southern ice sheet extended up through middle way of South America and most of Europe and part of the United States. All of Canada was under ice. So you have to think about that much meltwater based on calculations would raise sea levels around the globe by 400 feet.
Mm.
Entire land masses would be completely submerged. One thing they're finding right now on the island of Java in Indonesia, there's a pyramid that they found actually made about that time frame, and the near as they can tell, they're like the people that inhabited this area, they didn't get here by boat, they walked here. How does that happen? Oh, well, because when the sea levels were 400 feet lower, the actual landmass, which was called Sundaland, actually was connected to India.
Now, this map is still the coastals of today, but the ice sheath, you see, is down Germany, most of the British Isles. There were huge ice sheaths on the big mountains, and more or less the entirety of Canada and a bit into the United States.
Right.
So where would those... That's a lot of water in ice. So the coastal areas would have been, miles out from where they are today.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, where do we build our big cities?
On the coastlines.
On the coastlines.
Near water.
Yeah. And this means if you go by the Atlantic, you can see in the United States, there are maybe 3 or 4 miles out before the big plunge down to the big depths. That's where that times, if speculatively, no evidence, because moving ice and fire kind of it takes care of stuff.
Yep. I highly recommend anybody that is interested in what I've been talking about. I'm just kind of, look, I do what I can, but there is so many much better people that are explaining it out there. If you get the chance, if you got nothing to do this weekend, highly recommend go on Netflix if you have Netflix and go look up the series Ancient Apocalypse with Graham Hancock.
Yeah. Now
that is an amazing series.
Yeah. I watched both Graham Hancock and the geologist and archaeologist.
Randall Carlson.
Because there's some both sides, because yes, Graham, but he doesn't have the education, and some of the things might be out there. Okay, what are they saying? Okay, there are a tiny bit of overlap.
Yeah, Graham has always said he's not a scientist, he's a journalist. He's an investigative journalist. And so he goes to a lot of these experts, the people that have been studying this on the ground, and gets their feedback. And that's one of the things I like about his series is that he goes to these people and let them talk. Let them explain what they found. And what they keep finding is just blowing the doors off of mainstream academia.
Yeah. Go back 40 years. At the time, 40, 50 years, at the time I was in school. We were taught that the Ice Age retracted during hundreds and hundreds of years.
Gradualism, yes.
Yeah. Gradual, for some odd reason, it started to retract because of tilting or whatever. And gradual
orbital
heating
precession.
or something. Yeah. So in just 50 years,
yes,
we have gone from that to where we are now. Where today's archaeologist, today's geologist say, this happened in the span of a few years. And all of a sudden, they found, when was it, 2001, 2, when they found that in Turkey, they buried...
Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah.
It was discovered in 1963. It was not
so-
excavated until 2015,
but
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they found it, but it was never dated. It was found, but never dated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now that they've uncovered it and they're realizing it was purposefully buried, they're able to date the material that was used to bury the thing. And that's how they come up with the figure that it was built right at the end of the Younger Dryas.
Yeah. And this is so amazing with why I trust and distrust science, because science evolves. But you will
Yes.
always have these who says, this is what we found now. Now knowledge stops, more or less. No, everything evolves. Let's keep listening. Let's keep investigating, either through science or journalism or whatever, because everything changes.
Yeah.
With time, because we find out new stuff.
What's really interesting to me is, what you're talking about with academia basically being just so dug in. There's a really interesting thing that so the prevailing theory is that there was no settlement by humans in the North Americas until about 50,000 years ago, with the Clovis culture outside that they found in New Mexico, the Clovis first model. Well, the thing is, the scientists and the archaeologists, they dug down, they hit those remains, and then they stopped. And for basically the last 50 to 100 years, they've been like, no, there was nothing before that, period, end of sentence. And then anybody that ever actually wanted to try and say, hey, maybe we should try and dig further and see what we find, just, see what's going on, they were all shunned, kicked out of their academic, alma maters. They were basically labeled as pseudoscientists. And then finally, only just within the last 20 years, somebody finally just said, screw it, I'm going to independently fund my own project. I can't remember his name. And just said, I'm going to go out there and we're going to core drill. And they core drilled below the Clovis line. And guess what? They found artifacts of human settlement in that same spot going back over 100,000 years. Anatomically modern humans have existed on Earth over 300,000 years. You're telling me that for 300,000 years, with the way that our brains are built, we did not develop any kind of possibly like other civilization? That we're the first?
Yeah.
And only 6,000 years ago?
Yeah. And here, just more recent history, how quickly things get buried. The Amazon, they find civilization that might have been up to 20 million people, cities in the Amazon, with irrigation and everything, and that existed 800 years ago.
Yep.
And then disappeared. And in just 800 years, between 1200 and then the conquistadors and everything happened, and the history stopped for those people. And then not until the 1960s, 70s, we started to rediscover it. Because in just a few hundred years, everything was buried.
Yep.
Now imagine what would happen if a comet did that, or a really, really big meteor. But
I mean, look at Tunguska.
That was just nature. Thank you for irrigating and allowing new kind of trees and everything to grow and everything like that. But now let's retake everything. And I mean, it was buried in less than 50 years. It was swallowed by the Amazon.
And what's really cool is that they're finding now a lot of the Amazon may actually be not naturally forming, but man-made because of Terra Preta, which is unbelievable stuff. Terra Preta is this soil. It is basically a biochar mix. It's got microbes and fungus and all kinds of other stuff in it. It basically self-propagates. It just continually renews itself over time. It's soil that never goes bad. And so they're looking at the rainforest in, South America now, going, the entire Amazon is basically, near as we can tell, is probably man-made.
Yeah.
Because they're going through now with LiDAR, and they can look right through the trees without ever disturbing a single branch with LiDAR. And they're finding massive earthworks, ruins of cities buried under the trees that we can't see through LiDAR. And this is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And
so
those
wild.
were, if you would have had a satellite 800 years ago, everything would have been visible. Like at the time of the conquistadors, they were just at the coastlines. But
Yep.
through disease and everything that was spread because of trade from inland to coast, all of a sudden, in just a few years, it was gone because of disease. And then nature swallowed everything up in a matter of decades. And it took us 400 years, more or less, to rediscover it. And
Took
that's
us all this
only
time.
because today's technology.
Yep.
And I agree with Shadows that archaeology is severely underfunded.
Absolutely, it is.
Because we dig. Oh, they are digging everywhere. Why aren't they finding anything? Well, the places they are digging at is only places that was previously found. And again, the cities that would have existed speculatively, let's just speculate, is miles out in the ocean. There's no ocean archaeology much going on. Yeah, they are drilling for oil at some places, but none of what they drilled through is saved. We don't know. Imagine if they would have drilled down to the oil and saved the core, but they don't.
Yep. Absolutely. And I mean, have you heard of Darren Kuyu by chance?
No.
Oh, you're going to love this. So Darren Kuyu, it is in Turkey as well. And what's fascinating is that they have found this, it's a literal city underground.
Oh,
It
you
is
mean
in-
those man-made caverns?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've seen
Hacked
those.
out. Yeah, hacked out with stone and copper chisels. They basically built this, for lack of a better term, it's a bomb shelter.
Mm.
It is incredible. They dug all the way down to the water table. They have water. They have air vents that go all the way to the surface to provide air. They have living arrangements. They have livestock pens.
Mm.
It is a sophisticated city underground, and it's basically made to only be inhabited for really a few months out of the year, which really,
Yeah.
if you're in a
And-
period of bombardment like that, you
Yeah.
would take shelter down there.
Yeah, and compare those caverns with modern bomb shelters for huge populations are very, very similar.
Remarkable.
Yeah. Now, we have up north, we have to drill through granite and stuff like that. But we, again, that is Turkey, high above water level today.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what is miles out in the coastline if they actually get to search for it.
Yeah. I mean, the Bimini Road is a classic example of that. And then, of course, there's and on the island of Malta, there's these massive, it's basically like just down to the bedrock, but there are literal cart tracks that are worn into the stone, like massively worn into the stone. And the thing is, they go way out into the bay. And they've been able to track them like for a long ways. They find the same pillars of stone that are on land underwater. So now they're looking at this going, okay, we really do have some serious evidence that not only did the sea levels rise, but there might be entire cities underwater that we just never knew about.
Yeah. And then you have, for instance, the Mediterranean Sea. There's Gibraltar.
Yep.
Now, I don't recall if it is like 2030. I don't know. I don't remember when it went from inland sea almost dried out and all of a sudden it broke through.
Right.
But that is what happens when large amount of waters cover things.
Right.
Because the first decade of that walkway, it's just weird natural formed by currents. And then a decade of no. All right, it might be, because all of a sudden they go, yeah.
Right.
And imagine that on a global scale, that little plunge, the breakthrough in the Gibraltar, because that Gibraltar is really, really deep. The Gibraltar Sound, but it was broken through by water. And then everything because now all we find is those small traces. We don't know what else used to be there, because we are talking about the Mediterranean seabed was almost dried out 20, 30 years ago. We don't know what was there before, because it's all gone because of water.
Yep. What's even more fascinating is when you really get into a lot of the descriptions of Atlantis with Solon. Solon was an ancestor of Plato, and he allegedly at one point went to Egypt, and he spoke with the high priests in Egypt, and they told him this story about this great civilization that fell out of harmony with nature, and they were swallowed up and destroyed in this great flood. And when he asked, hey, when essentially
You're on the
this
wrong planet, I
happened,
think.
that they said it was 9,000 years ago, which if you take, 5,000 years ago, which is from now to Plato's time, and then you go back to Solon's, and then you go back 9,000 years, perfectly lines up 12,800 years ago.
Yeah. And that, I mean, the Atlantis, we don't know how much of it, but here's the thing, that is mostly because two things: the oral storytelling completely disappeared, and the Library of Alexandria burnt down.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about a library of books that this is at a time where few knew how to, according to at least 20, 30, 40 years ago, people who really knew how to read. But
swallowed up and destroyed.
Who's listening to stuff?
Is
Me.
it you, Ian?
Oh, if it was, hang on, it's gone.
Okay.
Well, 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was a myth, more or less, just story. But now, it was actually not a myth. And we are talking about a library the size of the US Congress Library.
Massive in scale.
And
what's even...
and it's most, 99% of it, except the few books that was saved. But most of those books that we know about are copies and of copies.
Yep.
But the size of it, I mean, we're talking about hundreds and thousands of books. And it's not like they wrote it all in a 10-year span. No, it was written and saved for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Well, most of back then, the scholars of the time were religious, tied to religion. And so a lot of that just was ancestral, was handed down, passed down. That knowledge was cultivated. And so, I mean, I mean, we probably lost, a good chunk of our history, like, or even just a good inkling of what happened back then. And there's actually a really cool place that we're going to cover on another episode that actually, if you take where they allegedly say that Atlantis was, allegedly, where the meltwater came down through, where things kind of ended up, and then Solon's account of the structure and the design of Atlantis. It was a ringed city in the water. There's a fascinating thing that happens. There's a place, it's in Africa, called the Richat structure. And let me go ahead and throw a picture up here real quick.
Yep.
There, that's it. That's in West Africa.
Yeah, and if we had,
I'll be right back. I gotta go check something real quick.
Yeah, and if you the same picture, but that way, there are miles and miles of dunes that are in the shape of huge, but it looks like seabed. But the dune are miles apart. And it's not just because normal sand dunes they drift and they change and everything, because 100 feet below those sand dunes, and why they don't move as much, is a layer of gravel and rock. So it's now the shape of that is really strange, because it can form naturally, but extremely rare in those shapes and that exact spherical form. Yeah, the Eye of Sauron. Hi, expert. You have the link, expert, if you want to. But still, 50. Many people didn't even know that place existed 50 years ago, and all of a sudden it does. So it's really, really, really strange. And things have. I mean, imagine today we know about the Albert Einstein, the mc square, and it's perfectly natural. At the time when he published it, it was a huge battle between his theory and the ether theory, that the universe was in one place. I mean, stagnant. And it's not like it was overnight that, here comes Einstein and here's his theory, and yes, of course, now we know what we see in the light. It took a good decade between publish and the Nobel Prize, because at the time, the universe is frozen, stuff like that. Because it's really difficult to change. When 90% of all scientists say something, because and then it has to become a revolution. Sometimes some of the biggest science revolutions has been fought by war. I mean, the Einstein, for a good decade, between the Einstein theory and the ether theory, huge battles. I mean, there were screaming matches in the science community publicly. Newspapers choose sides. I mean, today's tabloid is nothing against the war between scientific theories 100 years ago. And if you go back to the guy with the apple, enormous fights. And some of the theories that was involved in the 16th, 17th, and 18th century were buried and rediscovered hundreds of years later because somebody else, oh, this is it because this new theory confirms it. And then all of a sudden, oh, that also means that that guy 200 years ago was right. But he was buried because he fought against the established science at the time. And history is filled with it, but few knows about it. Even in European schools, we simply don't know about a bunch of today's theories was discovered hundreds of years ago. But that guy or that girl was ignored because it was against established theories. Ah. Yeah, the guy with Apple, Newton. Yeah, thank you. I mean, his theory didn't win everybody over immediately. And then you have why we are where we are today in science. You have the Dark Ages, when a few popes decided that science was evil. We lost a good 250 years of scientific progress. Imagine where we could have been today.
Mm-hmm. And even in recent history, I mean, if we had followed NASA's original plan in from the 60s, we should have had a permanent base on, the moon by the 1980s.
Yeah.
Because where else better to study the heavens than right there?
Yeah. Imagine having because the moon faces the same way all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the Earth. Imagine having what's the English
The
word?
dark side of the moon.
Yeah, imagine
Studying
building a telescope on the moon. No light disturbance, no satellites, no nothing.
Oh yeah.
Just looking out into space. Imagine what we could have discovered by now.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it
And there were
India?
There were plans of it.
Oh yeah.
But they were scrapped.
Well,
Yep.
wasn't it India? I think that just recently landed on the dark side of the moon, and
I
then
think it was, I
failed.
think it was India.
But I mean, it stopped working after a day. But I mean,
Yeah.
they were the first, so it was impressive.
Yeah.
But
You think that they could get tech support to the moon?
Yeah, but
Maybe
imagine.
try turning
You
it
sound,
on.
you sound like a guy I dated. Actually, several.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Hang on,
but
I had to turn my camera on to just check.
yeah, because there were
Okay,
plans
that's fine.
of having nuclear powered stuff on the moon.
Yeah.
Just looking at stuff, telescopes,
Right.
and that were developed at the same time as we shot out the. What are they? I'm missing words here. The satellites who just exited the solar system.
The Voyager program?
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
Voyager program.
Two Voyager.
The same technology to run telescopes on the moon.
Yep.
The blueprints are still there, but funding.
Well,
It's not
funding
sexy
and
anymore.
there's not as much government interest all of a sudden for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was because of the
honestly-
Cold War that we got to
Yeah.
the moon. Let's face it.
Yeah.
I honestly believe-
Cold War. Sometimes the Cold War ending was so bad for science.
Yeah.
Now it's
But
good
now with World
because
War
the-
III, we're starting to get back into developing stuff. But
well,
we are
here's
so
the
behind
thing.
the curve.
Yeah, I mean, you have Russia is already in Georgia and in a few satellite states and in Ukraine. Then you have the Israel. We've been, we are at World War. It's just that it's not one enemy, a bunch of countries against a bunch of countries. It's just over here, we have a bunch of countries at war. Over here, we have
and all of this is from World War One, basically.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's basically like bigger countries instigating a giant cockfight.
Yeah. And most of it are over borders that the Brits decided to draw up that never existed. Thank you, Great Britain. Well done.
We see why
Got
we're
any-
trying to get
yeah.
rid of them.
Hey, England, you got any more Independence Days to hand out? Because you handed out 65. We were the first.
Mm.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the James Webb now are discovering things and challenging known science.
Oh, the James Webb just literally doubled our perceived age of the universe by we thought it was 13 billion years old.
Yeah.
It's now looking like 26.5 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that is one study. They have to confirm that studies, but I know
Right.
I've listened to a few science. You have Anton Petrov and that Dr. Becky, who this is because that's the good thing about YouTube scientists. They are not afraid. Okay,
Yeah.
new information. Okay, it doesn't say that Big Bang never did, but it challenges the age because all of a sudden they are finding fully formed huge galaxies when there weren't supposed to be any.
They're in the grand scheme of things, our galaxy is tiny compared to so many that we've seen out there.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest galaxy they found to date, our galaxy is 100,000 light years across and 10,000 on top. The biggest galaxies they found so far is 4 million light years across.
Jeez.
That they found so far. The biggest galaxy they found through James Webb at the beginning of the universe is our size. It's not supposed to exist.
Right.
And
Galaxies get bigger over time?
It's supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be and swallow up each other and black holes forming and colliding together, and over billions of years it starts to,
We're in the period of expansion before things begin to contract, which they won't begin to actually contract until close to the heat death of the universe.
How do you know?
Yeah. We don't.
That's just
he
the scientific model.
Yeah.
Mm.
We don't
Look, I'm
really
just
know.
going off of what that is. We don't know for sure. We're just guessing.
No,
But
we're
at
just-
the same
we're just
time, we're
talking about.
looking at the empirical data and going, well, based on what we're seeing here, if we follow the trend, it goes that.
Yeah.
Another thing that kind of helps to lend to that credence is another fun thing we're going to get into at some point called sacred geometry, which, boy howdy, if you ever want a mind blower of mind blowers, start looking into some of the stuff on sacred geometry. Turns out that the number 9 is actually the prime number of the universe. It's
Prime
wild.
number.
Yeah, I mean, how you write
Thought that
the
was
old,
69.
if you check
That was
back in time, how you used to write the old 9 is very close to the Fibonacci number. The Fibonacci, what is
Fibonacci?
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci sequence number. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a spiral.
Yeah, the spiral.
And I know
That's a
about this.
9.
I'm a designer.
Yeah, because
Now I can contribute.
if you go back far enough, that's how the number was written. And
Well, I
here's the
mean-
thing: we are living now in one of the biggest scientific revolution. Here's the thing: we're in the middle of it, so we don't know the results of it. We know now the result of the fight between the ether universe and the Einstein universe. We know that. No, we know that now. At the time, huge fights. The Newton universe and his theories, and the current, what he fought against. Yeah, now we know the result. We don't know the result yet from this scientific revolution. And it's amazing.
It really is.
If we survive World War
Yes.
III.
Oh, they
I-
keep saying World War III.
You're
I
safe in
honestly
Australia.
think at this point if we are to survive as a species, our destiny lies with getting off the planet and becoming a level 1 species. Right now, because we're on the Earth, we are a level 0 species of our planet, start getting into the solar system and actually using the resources in our solar system and not relying so much on the resources of the planet, and then using we could basically at that point turn the planet back into the Edenic garden that it was before.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there are asteroids in the asteroid belts. That is this. If you collect everything in the asteroid belts, it's more or less a tenth of the moon. But there are chunks of it that is pure iron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're finding stuff in the meteor that just came back. Well, once they open it, but I mean, they've already got more than they wanted to get just on like the outside of the container.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now let's because my favorite author of all time is Isaac Asimov, The Foundation.
Yes.
And I'm reading that as a warning to society. This is what happens if we don't evolve. Yeah. If we stop repairing, if we stop doing this is what will happen. And we are headed that way.
Yeah.
And he was an astrophysicist. And he wrote, sometimes I wonder if he is one of the, I don't say prophet because he wasn't religious. He was an avid atheist. But I read that as a warning to us. This is what will happen if we don't do something. And that is, as you said, becoming a level 1 species. Stop mining the earth. And there are there is an abundance of resources out in the solar system.
There's an entire asteroid out there that they found right now that's just sitting there, just one that we know of, that has more gold on it than the entire planet Earth.
Yeah.
Which would probably screw with the economy, though.
But gold is already an imaginary asset, and so is diamonds. I mean, there are so many diamonds in the world. It should be cheaper. It should be at the price of glass, more or less. But we have companies that, if you love her, give her a diamond. And
because right now, as it stands where we are on our planet, it is a scarce resource.
Yeah.
But out there, you have almost unlimited supplies of all that.
Yeah. And already at Earth, we have, for instance, lithium, which is, we need it in our batteries. There is, even with the new discoveries, there aren't enough to dig up
and it's bad for the environment
to get us the batteries needed to electrify everything and remove all oil and coal. 10
to 20 years, lithium will be the new oil.
Yeah.
I think they'll need better battery technology, which may or may not involve lithium, but it hasn't evolved much.
Yeah. Our current battery technology is highly lacking. But right now, I mean, if we follow the current trend, lithium in 10 to 20 years is going to be the new oil.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah. And that one of the most, about the energy, I mean, wind and other intermittent energy sources, but
you need batteries.
We need batteries for it. And here's the thing. If we get to develop Gen 3, Gen 4 nuclear power plants, just by the nuclear waste that is currently in storage, we can have enough energy on the planet for thousands of years.
Just using the old waste.
But Greenpeace is funded by fossil fuel. You know, Greenpeace, Save the Planet, everything.
They're all funded by oil.
Funded
What's up, expert?
Hey, expert!
How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm drinking beer and competing in streams with other people. There's getting a lot of us streaming in our group of friends.
Yes.
Friday Night Live got canceled. You guys should all be over hanging out over there. Oh,
Should be.
that's what it should be, but it got canceled. How are you guys doing? How is everybody? Everybody got big plans this weekend?
Actually, this weekend I've got absolutely little to nothing planned, and I'm absolutely happy for it.
Yeah. Tomorrow is, or today my time, is Sweden's All Hallows Eve.
Oh,
All
hey,
Saints
do y'all
Day.
do that cat thing that Baker was telling me about in Denmark?
The what?
That cat thing?
Cat thing?
He says something about putting a cat in a barrel. Does that make
No.
sense? It didn't make sense to me either.
No, I have no idea what that is.
He
But
says
we-
like some tradition about that or something.
Yeah. Well, we have the more mellow tradition that is just visiting among us relatives and stuff like that. But we are also celebrating new life, and I accidentally bought a $500 costume, which I
that's
will show off
awesome.
tomorrow at my stream.
Oh,
Which,
please tell me, did inebriated Nick buy sober Nick a gift?
No, this is planned.
Oh.
This is planned. Yeah. This
I
is
love
planned.
that. But
Yeah, but I did get. Here's the thing. Okay, I don't know who sent me, because this showed up in my mailbox.
uh-oh.
No emails, no nothing. All of a sudden, it was there on a package, and it was somebody who apparently thought I would have one of these rubber thingies.
Better than the gift that showed up in my box.
Yeah.
What'd you get in your inbox?
Dave. It was from Dave. I found out he sent me some candy in the shape of dicks.
Did he send you a bag of dicks?
Yes,
Dude, how is that?
I haven't tried them yet.
I pulled
Watch
that
it.
on
Be
my.
very
on my
careful opening that.
I did that to my
Sometimes
D&D
it's
guys one
confetti.
time. Like we were playing D&D, and the session beforehand, they had completely screwed up this whole plan that I had for this like big like sea battle, and it was going to be a lot of fun. And they basically like figured a way to go around it and do it in like 5 minutes. I was so mad. And so like the next session, I like brought in. I'm like, okay, thanks to all of y'all for screwing over my plans, so y'all can just eat a bowl of dick. And I threw a big bowl full of like those gummy dicks on the table.
Dude, man.
Yeah.
How do they
We
taste? Are
have,
they fresh?
Yeah, we have dick pasta. Pasta in shape. Those are fun to give away. Yeah. Hey, I brought pasta to the picnic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you. I'm trying to think what you could say. Like I brought like I don't know, like cherry shaped pasta. I don't know, but dude, that skull would be awesome if you had your hair going through it, like coming like kind of up and around, and you had the. I don't know if that works. I was just thinking that.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
No, I
have
have
to
no
switch
idea
out
who
my
sent it
glasses
to
here.
me, because there's no traces, no emails, no text. This is on the way, and I have the package here somewhere, but now I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, so somebody sent me this, and thank you. It's a bit creepy because my address isn't out there. You can find it if you really want to, but it's a bit. And here's the thing: I would have a post box open. Sorry. Oh, don't burp
Oh my
inside
God.
a mask.
All did it.
It will
That's
go
so
direct.
awesome.
Will if you burp inside a mask, it will go directly to your nose. Just
Yes,
saying.
that's right.
Yeah, but
That's right.
if I want to get a post box, it
I love
cost
it.
me about between $100 and $150 a month just
Oh,
to
that's
have
not
one.
worth it.
Yeah, it's if I become, I don't know, lawn lumber size. Yeah, all of a sudden it's I can make that happen. But until then, no.
But you don't have weirdos in Sweden. Like that's the only reason to get a post office box in America. So with the
In case anyone's
weirdos.
interested.
Well, we do have
that's
weirdo,
awesome.
but
Wait a second. That's not the kind you
I
get
forgot I have my
from
headphones on.
the internet. Like that's like he went inside a sex store and bought those.
Did he?
Expert
What it looks
would know.
like.
Where do you think I got the gummy dicks for my D&D party?
So you didn't get them from the internet. You went to a store.
Yeah, I just happened to be working on that side of town.
Oh man,
That sounds
yeah.
weird.
Well,
Never
so
mind.
good.
Skip that.
No, man, there used to be like a what's that place? Hustler. They had a place right off the interstate. There's a bunch of sex shops in Tennessee right off the interstate.
These dicks are pretty good.
Lion's Den, all those.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Are they sour?
No,
Are they creamy?
it's kind of hard.
I've seen the
They're
gummy
probably-
ones.
They don't have
If
any
they're
black-
hard for more than 4 hours, then see a doctor.
I'm not the one seeing a doctor.
Well, after I'm through.
Oh my gosh. This is awesome. Friday night chilling out, man. Like it's so different for me. I love this. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
So
no,
I was
just-
out.
Oh, they're really
What?
hard. I guess you just suck on them.
I love the hard candies you do that. I've got a sucker somewhere. I went trick or treating.
Yeah.
The last one tastes like cigarette ash. It came from the lady at the gas station. Actually, I don't know if she worked there or not. She was just giving out free candy.
You checked it for razor blades and needles first, right?
That's not what I'm worried about, man. That's not what I'm worried about.
Oh,
get an
I need to
STD.
fetch me more nicotine pouches. Be back in a second.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome. How are you guys doing? Y'all now y'all don't have Halloween in Australia, do you?
We have it. We just don't do it very well.
Well,
We have,
you
we
know,
have a bit of a backlash towards it, actually.
really?
Some people don't like it. I got into it this year, but some people don't like it. Some people think it's like
Look
an,
at- oh.
what do you call it?
Oh.
An
Oh,
Americanization.
Yeah, well, of course you
Yeah.
should do that. That's awesome. You should tell them,
don't
like,
know
yeah,
why.
that's what we're trying to do. We want all those cool things, like nuclear weapons and freedom and rock and roll. You guys do have good rock and roll, man. AC/DC, I love those guys.
Akadaka. Yeah.
So you guys don't go out trick or treating and stuff like that?
My girl did this year. My daughter
Oh,
did.
yeah?
Yeah.
How'd it work
She had
out?
a great old time.
Did you take her candy? Did you take some of it?
No, I don't. I'm not into candy. But
Oh,
she
that's
she
a
came back
shame.
with a bunch of stuff.
Are you just too
Uh,
sweet for candy?
I am indeed.
Oh, there you go. Rattle, rattle. Oh, that's awesome. Nick is too.
Indeed.
That's why I can't wait. I won't be able to see it live tomorrow, though, Nick. I want to see your costume or your outfit. Excuse me. It's not a costume, it's an outfit. But
Yeah, it's
anyway.
more an outfit than a costume. Yeah.
What did
And,
your.
yeah, that it will be really, really fun to
That'd be
put
awesome.
everything on.
I'll be with Valhalla. What did your daughter go as this year?
My daughter, she actually
Yeah.
used my costume.
Oh, yeah. What's your costume?
My costume was a US cheerleader because I was being ironic.
Ooh,
So-
a U.S. cheerleader. I know they do.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just like I had a USA thing.
I have
there
never
and-
not dated a cheerleader. Isn't that weird? And I've never dated a redhead. These are things we find out on my stream. That's
I
cool.
dated a redhead,
Congratulations.
except she dyed her hair brown, and I was so
A what?
mad.
So she's tricking you.
I know. I was mad.
What do you call it when a blonde dyes her hair brown?
I know this one.
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. Very good.
I love blonde jokes. I really do.
Ooh, stop it! I'm not
Have you
gonna
ever
give
seen a
my
blonde
candy
get mad
baby.
at a blonde joke?
Once you explain it to them.
See, that's
I mean,
the
as
thing.
somebody
They
who's
don't-
married to a blonde.
Do you tell her a lot of blonde jokes?
No, I learned that very quickly in the relationship.
Oh,
Do you,
she's
do you
fine.
tell her brunette jokes?
I don't do a lot of jokes outside of like, you know, the
Yeah,
lame
outside of your
dad
realm?
jokes.
You just changed
Outside of
blonde
your
to
room.
brunette.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was
Mostly,
gonna
yeah.
say.
Yeah, she doesn't
Just
quite
pick
have
on
the
redheads.
sense of humor.
Just pick
On
on
that.
redheads.
Yeah, okay. But let's have instead for all the blondes out there, because I discovered that 10% of my audience just disappeared.
Oh no!
Yeah. Okay. What is the one thing that brunettes miss most about an awesome party?
Being invited.
Yeah.
Is that right?
There goes the other 10%.
That goes another.
Oh
Yeah. Let's
no! Hey, Jenny B,
alienate-
she's a redhead.
There's a bass player joke that I keep wanting to do for Gosney, but I want to make sure I do it like on a stream with Gosney. It's how do you get a bass player off your front step?
Hmm.
Pay him for the pizza.
Oh, dude!
What
Dude, you
is
know,
the
you know, Shizzy's a bass player.
Oh yeah, he'd love that one too.
Do you know he used to deliver pizza? Yes, dude, you got to. Oh man, and he's gone. He's not listening to this. He won't even see it because he's with the wife thing happening.
Yep.
So, oh, dude, oh, you got to let me know. Don't you tell him until I'm in the chat. I want to see his reaction. That is
I'll make
awesome.
Bronca,
If it happens, I'll make sure to clip that one.
That is
Get your
awesome.
ass in here, Bronca.
By the way,
Hey, Bronco.
the mother effer is not real. Have you guys seen that chick?
She's really annoying.
Oh,
me.
Tiffany Gomez, yeah.
Is she real? Because
I think it was a stunt.
My theory
this
is
is the
that-
same
that-
chick from like the video
No.
that she is now.
My theory is no. She comes
Thank
from
you.
like a marketing background, and she waited like a month. It was just all too perfect.
Yeah.
Well, they
Come
don't
out.
look anything alike.
No,
Yeah, they look
who was
nothing alike.
screaming
It's
that
weird. That MFer's not
fucker is
real.
not real on an airplane.
Yep.
Oh, that one. No,
Yeah,
that wasn't. She
And
was
they
the same
couldn't-
person. No.
Was there a lizard person there though? That's what I heard.
That's been debunked.
was
The
Joe
lizard
Biden on the
person?
plane?
South Carolina has a lizard person. Have you ever seen they put out warnings? The state of South Carolina does.
Yeah, George
Official
Bush was
warnings.
visiting.
They have official warnings for lizards.
Huh.
Yeah, NXS is great too. It's another good
Yes,
Australian band.
My favorite. My favorite.
Except that one dude, he couldn't hang with him,
Hey.
so he left.
But
Was
no.
that the guy that?
Mm.
Okay, that was a
asphyxiation.
very controversial ending for
I'll say.
No, it's not.
was
What's
very-
controversial? Hold on, wait a second. If auto asphyxiation is controversial, right? Then, like, what do you call David
What am I-
Carradine?
Autoerotic
Oh.
What happened to him?
asphyxiation.
What are
yeah.
you
What happened to him? What
Same
happened to
thing.
him?
Oh,
Sorry, I
come
don't know
on!
the
You saw the
story.
pictures?
No.
No,
David
I-
Carradine
Oh,
found in a
yeah.
What
closet.
happened to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the gimp suit
Yeah.
Oh,
doing it.
right. That's worse.
Yeah. He had a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
war
bad.
mobs.
NXS guy, he's just like, come on, you expect a rock star. Actually, I was kind of disappointed because a rock star I didn't expect to be doing that.
On his own. No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You expect there
And
to be a
Joe-
hot chick there somewhere. There was
Yeah.
no hot chick there.
At least
It was
pay
just on
somebody
his
to
own.
choke you. It's safer
Mm.
that way.
It was very strange.
Mm.
But yeah, but that was 1997, right? So back
Yeah, I
then,
mean,
the people
back
hadn't
then
really
it's-
heard of
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Mm.
You know,
No.
like now
I'm-
it's sort of more known.
I
It's
need
just
to weigh
normal.
up
Everybody
a
does
bit
that.
of the blonde and brunette jokes. Let's have a few jokes about men. What do you
about
call a
redheads?
man?
You gonna skip
with-
over the redheads? You
Yeah.
afraid of them?
Yeah.
Can I just bow out for a moment?
Aw.
I'm going to have to go, and I'm having a
Where you
little
going?
bit of a drama with my daughter right now.
No, you
It's
give her a
it's
llama.
her-
Say no drama.
It's the end of the year concert for her ballet, and I'm having costume dramas with her. So I'm just going to pop out for
No,
about
she's a
20
cheerleader.
minutes or so. No, not
Yep.
right now. She's not.
All right, we're timing you.
I may be
It's
back. We'll see how we
9:02
go.
in the East Coast.
I
We'll
will
give you
see what I
18
can do.
minutes. 18
Bye.
minutes. I'll cry. I'll cry if you don't come back.
Mm.
She doesn't believe me, but I
Oh.
can.
Anyway, dude jokes.
New
What do you
joke?
call? Okay, what do you call a man with 99% of his brain missing?
Normal.
Castrated.
Oh, that's solid. That's very
Nice.
solid.
What do you call a handcuffed man?
Wait, y'all aren't handcuffed?
Trustworthy.
Oh,
Hey, why are all dumb blonde jokes one-liners?
Any more than they get confused?
So men can remember them.
Oh,
is Bronca sending you these? Is that what he's doing in disguise? Is he back there? Bad Bronca, bad. He's in Disney World. What's he doing?
Is he?
Sending these jokes.
oh, how does a man make sex more interesting? He leaves town.
Hey, if
Send Bronco
marriage
in.
kills love, what does love kill?
What?
20 minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
What's a man's idea of safe sex? A padded
A
headboard.
gun? A what?
A padded headboard.
Oh,
No condom.
oh,
oh
I
man.
don't have any of these. Oh.
Look at a great big huge wooden headboard.
Me too.
what's why is a man like
Bunch
old
dancing.
age?
Hmm.
Both come too soon.
See, look, Bronco's sitting there saying that you're messing up his jokes. He can tell them to you.
Hey, what's
Speaking
going
of
on,
devil,
man?
he shows up.
Oh,
How you doing, man?
No tie.
Hey guys,
hey, how you doing?
let me check my settings here. Hold
Yeah,
on.
you're on the wrong line.
Yeah, we are. I'm telling
Check.
bad man jokes to my female audience because we told blonde jokes and brunette jokes, and I lost a bit of an audience because 75% of them are women, and I thought I would entertain the girls out there with men jokes. So if you have any in store, go ahead.
Okay, not a lot.
He skipped the redhead jokes.
Yeah, because
They
of
scare you.
reasons. Because of reasons. Because yeah. But not a man joke. But what do you call that guy who is in the background of the musicians? The drummer.
Oh.
I thought that was the bass player.
Poor Gosney.
Oh my god.
How you been?
Drummers are so different.
How are you
Love 'em.
doing, Branka?
I'm doing good. Finally getting over this cold. Thank goodness.
You too?
Yeah, you too,
Taking
huh?
forever.
Jeez, I'm like the only one that hasn't got one.
Yeah,
Jenny,
I'm just now
post
getting
it
over
in-
mine.
post it in chat, and I will show it here on screen.
Well, I think we know the ones that shouldn't be posted.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at
yeah, I
Roscoe
mean, I
Ranch.
Rosman
Look at
Ranch is a
Rosman.
good one. Except she underestimates the weight difference. But the average weight of a woman in America today is 170 pounds. That's like
What's the
heavier than
average?
90% of the guys who fought in World War II.
What's the average weight of men, though?
It doesn't matter. Men aren't valued for their looks. They're valued for their
Well,
money.
dude, I get that, but like, I mean, we're a really big nation. I blame
for
corn
sure.
syrup. I blame corn syrup.
Everyone's too fat. No question about it.
Let's see.
But the
Sweden,
women,
average
that's what
wo-
they're selling. They're selling their looks.
Yeah.
I saw
average
Victoria's
weight-
Secrets isn't anymore.
Average
Yeah,
weight
they're
in
going
Sweden.
back. They learned that the hard way.
Average weight in Sweden for men is 180, and for women it's 147.
That sounds like heaven.
I'm gonna be a passport bro at this rate.
Oh, if you've never been,
How
Scandinavia is amazing for an American. You walk around and everyone is so
Really?
tall and slim and gorgeous. It's incredible and drunk and fairness, but
Perfect.
it's perfect as heaven, right? And then
No.
you fly back to America and you get to the airport. You look around. It's like, holy crap! Everyone's got a BMI of 30.
No, I mean,
Mm.
in most of the world, I'm really tall, but in Sweden, I'm tall but not very tall. I mean, I'm
Really?
close to 6'4", but in
Holy
Sweden,
cow.
there are a bunch of. I mean, I don't know average height.
How tall are the
Sweden?
women?
They're tall too.
Really?
Yeah. The average height in Sweden is 5 feet 11.26 inches.
That's
the
like 4 or
average.
5 inch. That's 4 or 5 inches taller than the American average.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm 6'2".
Average
but, like,
male?
And the Swedish women average
Or
height
average
is
woman,
5
yeah.
feet 5.75 inches.
That's too short for me.
Yeah, conveniently fits in all the overhead storage bins.
Save on the ticket.
You only need a medium-sized suitcase.
Yeah.
There used to be a
Terabunit.
no, there used to be a time when like there was like a height limit, and then now there's like some extremely attractive, like way over 6 feet chicks. I'm like, interesting. It's a lot of legs.
Well, have you seen a lot of the
Yeah.
women nowadays? Aren't actually women.
Yeah, depends on if the government says the average height of women in America has increased.
Yeah.
Also
That's not a
the
woman.
American. Yeah, yeah,
So is
That's a
there Adam's
dude.
apple.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I heard earlier on.
Hi, my name's Linda.
I'm a she.
I listened in on a stream earlier about U.S. American mixed martial arts stuff, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, and guys who says they are women are now they try to compete in the women's division, and at one specific place, all the girls walked off.
Good.
So they created an open division.
And nobody
The
entered.
And nobody
bonus hole, the
Can't
bonus hole
imagine that.
position.
In
Division.
combats, I don't know how they do it in Europe, but in combat sports in America, wrestling, BJJ, whatever,
Yeah.
boxing, an 8-pound weight difference, 8 pounds puts you in a different weight class. I mean, we
Yep.
don't let people fight each other if
Mhm.
they're 8 pounds in weight difference. And then
Yeah.
you
For a man,
imagine,
that's all muscle.
yeah, you imagine
And
putting a man and woman against each
Yeah.
other. It's insane.
I heard you say that in one of your videos, Bronca, and
Yeah.
it was. I was just like, I honestly, it was one of those moments where it just like it hit me. I was like, "Holy cow!" It's right there in front of your face. All these years, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, man, I never thought about that. That's a huge
Right, and of
thing.
course it's relevant for what I do, which
Yeah.
is self-defense law. because
100%.
someone- if you're defending yourself against someone who's 25 pounds heavier, he's 3 weight classes out of your league, right? That's not a fair fight.
I remember my criminal professor had been a appellate judge, criminal appeals judge, and he gives that one. I think every crim professor does it. It's that one instance, right, where it's like there is this guy who's like 5'4", and he does, you know, he goes up. There's a 6'4" dude that was pestering him, and then the 5'4" guy, you know, roundhouse kicks him because he's Chuck Norris and, you know, breaks his neck, whatever. But like I mean, that's just the generalization. The guy was like, yeah, this happened. It was in a VA hospital. Actually, this guy was just picking on him all the time, and the guy just couldn't take it anymore. Anyway, the whole thing goes to your introduction to self-defense. You know, don't ever underestimate people. And also at the same time, you know, because you see the big dude, you're like, he's going to destroy that little guy. But
No, some of those little guys are motherfuckers. They'll fuck
Right?
you up.
Short man syndrome is a
I
thing.
I lived in Boston for 25 years. I know little guys in Boston who will fight a telephone pole. I mean,
Yeah.
And they don't feel
and-
the punch, man. You smack them right in the face and they don't feel it.
Yeah. And by the way, Brian Shaw, world's 5 times world's strongest man, has now started training for mixed martial arts. He's being trained by that Michael guy, the BJJ world champion. I mean, Brian Shaw is currently
how old is
at
Brian
4.
Shaw?
Now he's 39, I think. So it's very, very. I mean, it's just exhibition probably because he wants to try it out.
Sure.
But there are
and
some
BJJ is fun. I mean, that's what I do. I love it.
But
if he, if he's got the free time to invest a couple hours a day for a couple years, he'd probably get pretty good at it.
Yeah, and he trained all his life for. He was a basketball player before, training for. So he is an athlete. He knows how to train. He knows how to devote
BJJ is
himself.
not. It's not really about strength, though. I mean, of course, strength matters. It always matters in any kind of combat sport. But it's much more about leverage and technique than it. I mean, I have there's in the gym I go to. There's a 120-pound girl who kicks my ass every time I spar with her. I mean, she's now
you have to pay
several belt levels above me. She's
and
really
you
good at
don't
what
have
she
to
does.
pay her. And
Right,
but,
I don't have to pay her. Right?
Oh man!
But
I love the price.
if Brian Shaw starts competing, he is currently at 400 pounds, 6'8", 400 pounds.
Yeah.
So they have to create a completely different weight class. I don't know who he's supposed to fight against, because there's not a lot of guys that size. I mean, they're more or less all former strongmen at that size. But
I mean, they'll be in some unlimited, weight class.
Yeah,
There's plenty of guys who'll fight him. I mean,
his goal is to lose roughly 60 to 80 pounds to get, because at that size, he's not very, he's agile for a guy that size. But compared to, for instance, say Brock Lesnar, he's not agile. But if he gets down to 320, 330, now there are a bunch of guys who walk around in the mixed martial arts in UFC heavyweight division. There are guys who downsize to get into the 265 to heavyweight, who walks around 320, 330. Yeah, now you have guys you can compete against. So, but it will be amazing, because the only former strongman is Pudzianowski, and he was huge in the late 90s, early noughts. He won 4 strongman in a row before he was discovered with a lot of anabolic steroids. Shockingly. But he now has, I think he has a 3-2 record, but the people he is up against are like, nah, not going to happen. He is up against like 1-7 record guys, and he still managed to lose some of them. And so yeah, but Brian Shaw is another monster. He is, so that will be really interesting to see what happens. But
I would watch that BJJ match or mixed martial arts or whatever it is he's doing.
Yeah,
I'd
of
watch
course,
that just to see what happens. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different kind of animal, because if you go into lift weights, you have maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute of explosivity. In 5-minute rounds in mixed martial arts, when you constantly move around and try to avoid being punched and taken down, whole different animal, whole different cardio. But
a big part of BJJ is actually compelling your opponent to burn his energy, so he ends up exhausted. Right. That happens in 90 seconds, 120 seconds, and then he's just blown, and then he's not hard to take.
Yeah, one good example of that is there was a fight number of years ago between a guy who was just below the top 10, who was supposed to compete. He had a top 10 who had to redraw. So in a matter of just a couple of days, a local fighter said, okay, I will meet with him, which was nowhere near. And this guy who was near top 10 decided to show off. So he started to do, jump kicks and stuff like that. And Brazilian, a lot of really stupid things. And he managed to gas himself out in the first round. And in the second round, that local fighter who just protected himself knocked him out.
Yep.
And yeah, so
I saw a thing like years ago, like who was the guy? The Giant, not Andre the Giant, but the other guy, like WWE. He was like, there was some dude who kept harassing him at like a hotel or something, and I forget what happened. And he was like, "Yeah, like I don't know how to fight. Like I'm this big, huge dude, and like little guys, and like everybody's little to him, are always like, trying to take a swing or something." He said, "It's hard for me to go out and stuff because what happens? They want to provoke me. I don't know how to fight. I don't know what my strength does that if I make contact." And it's like,
fix that.
Well, I mean, he's an entertainer,
Yeah.
it's funny. But
Sorry, I'm a small town lawyer. I know how to fight.
I know that the Big Show, 7'2", I think.
The Big Show, yeah.
Now he got into a bar fight, or he was attacked in a bar, and he just turned around and slapped the guy, and broke the entire side of that guy's face.
Okay, that might have been what I read. Yeah. He's like, I don't know my strength.
Yeah. There's a newer story just a few years ago. I don't remember his name, but also one of these 6'10", 7 foot guys who was approached outside of a bar, and he just, "Hey, come on," and he just walked past him into the bar, and 10 minutes later, all the cops were there because somebody called in that a giant is murdering somebody, and he just walked past him. And I saw it on a short just a few days ago, but I know that Big Show after that bar fight, because that guy was like 6'2", 6'3", well built, but at that time I think the Big Show was still 7'2" and 500 pounds. Even with a slap.
Yeah. Puts that weight in there, man.
You break stuff.
The hardest thing for him is to make contact. Because someone would be faster than him. But it's just, man, nobody wins at fighting, though. That's try to stay out.
Fighting sucks. Don't do it.
Yeah. Try to stay out of that.
Yeah.
I'm a lover, not a.
Usually the guy that wants to pick a fight is the guy that has not actually won a fight in his life.
Or he can run really fast.
Unfortunately, you never know. Is the problem. I mean, there are a-holes out there who pick fights and can fight, and they're dangerous to tangle with, and it's they'll hurt you if you give them the opportunity. So I mean, I've been an adult a long time. I haven't had a fight since college maybe. And I hope to continue that record. and I'm a guy who carries a gun, carries a knife, carries pepper spray, practices jiu-jitsu because I want to be ready. But I hope to God I never have to use any of that.
Right.
It's scary, and you always see the shorts of it or something. It seems like is the those knockout dudes that go running up behind somebody and just hit them right. Like kind of like him in the head,
right?
And
Pay attention,
that person
man.
just go wham. Yeah, well, I mean,
a sucker punch will take you out. Sure. Almost invariably when you watch those videos, the person who's punched is obviously completely unaware of their environment.
But there is
They're
a common
looking at
denominator.
Well, of course there is. It's the Amish.
Yeah.
It's always the Amish.
I know.
Yeah,
but they are distracted. They're not paying attention to their surroundings. Your head has to be on a swivel, especially if you live in one of those places where this stuff happens.
If you're aware of your environment, if you see someone closing proximity, it's very difficult for you to get knocked out by one punch, because at the very least, even someone who's untrained will put their hands up to protect themselves.
Yeah. I checked it out, and the guy who tried to fight the Big Show was 6'6", and this is just so not a small guy by any means, but Big Show 7'5", 500 pounds. I mean, and let's see here. This is
So is the
grainy,
Big
but-
Show like a public figure?
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
So
At the
Just
time,
imagine
with
Hulk
being a
Hogan.
public figure is there are people who will hunt you down to have a fight with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they can either
Yeah.
win and claim some kind of credit or lose and sue you over it.
yeah.
Or
And
still
this
have
guy
bragging
tried.
rights, but-
This guy tried to sue him, and there was police reports, but everything was deemed self-defense.
Thank God.
Let's see here. See, Big Show just go away. Keep taunting. Oh. No.
No, it goes back.
That looks like a bad school teacher.
You don't want to be in his
I don't know
class.
why she was in my car.
Yeah, there you go.
This is
I
that
would not
bad
want to
school teacher's
tangle with-
I
lawyer.
wouldn't expect it to be a she. Wait, did I
No.
say that?
Trans woman.
Boom.
Ooh.
And down.
And walks off. And just walks off. One
Imagine
punch.
taking a fist to the face. I imagine most of us guys have been punched in the face at one time or another. I certainly have. Can you imagine taking a fist to the face with 500 pounds behind it?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh my
Yeah.
God, your face would just like wrap around the fist.
Well, look
I
as he
took one-
signs that autograph. How big I mean, you don't even see the pin.
Good Lord. He's like twice the size of that kid.
Yeah.
yeah, and that
He
guy
looks like
behind him,
12.
that's a normal sized human being.
Yeah.
That's like a.
That's the
Yeah,
whole.
it's just weird.
No, Hulk Hogan was 6'7", 6'8". This guy is 7 feet tall, or 7'2", or something like that. I mean,
Okay, let's say he's 7 feet, right? And you said like the guy that
Well,
that
he
won a
was
bathroom
6'6". yeah,
was
but let-
6'6".
yeah, but 6'6" is still very, very tall. No question about it. But that is comparing, I mean, me at 6'4" against a 5'10". All of a sudden,
That's what I was just thinking.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm 6'1", so it'd be like someone who's 5'7". You're talking about a dude who's shorter than my wife.
Yeah.
And of course,
So-
the important part is the height actually translates to reach, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you're 4
Yeah,
or
'cause
5
you have
inches
longer
taller than
arms.
someone, you have that much more reach. I mean, you can strike them when they can't strike you.
Yeah.
You can put your hand on their head and, oh, you can't hit me.
Now this was back when he had hair. Now he's semi-retired and everything. He shows up once in a while, but you can see his knees are starting to give up on him and stuff like that. But
Yeah, no, no kidding.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, carrying that all his
But-
life.
yeah, but he had that giantism before he had the operation on his whatever it's
Pituitary.
called. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he stopped at 7 foot, 7'2" or something like that. And that guy is still smaller than Andre the Giant.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant, also before his back problems and everything, I think he was 7'2" or 7'4".
There's a great documentary about Andre on HBO, and
Yeah.
I say it's great because my wife, like, I started playing it, and she's like, "Oh, what is this?" You know, and the next thing you know, she's watching it, and that's the first thing she tells everybody. You know, like, "Have you seen this documentary?" She'll say, "No," but have you ever seen Andre the Giant? Like, she loves it. She was
Yeah.
so taken away by like the guy's life is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah,
But-
his entire life from being discovered, starting to train in France, and then all of a sudden be brought over to the United States, where wrestling was still in the before more or less. But WWE at the time was regional, before it was national. Andre the Giant Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan was the two people who made WWE go national. WrestleMania 2 was according to legend, was the first time anybody body slammed Andre the Giant. Now, we know now that it has been done before by Hulk Hogan, but on a national level, televised. And I mean, Andre the Giant, 7'4", also around 500 pounds. Yeah, it was. Yeah, back in
Hogan
that.
said in an interview he was terrified about doing that. He said, "What if Andre got mad?" And I'm sitting
Yeah.
there going, "Dude, that's crazy."
Yeah, and Andre the Giant was so overly strong that if he didn't like you, he beat you up.
Yeah, he just crush you.
Yeah, and at some points, somebody on the local circuit, when they were out in bumfuck Alaska or something like that, and the local giant decided to, I'm going to take this guy down. He put you in a hospital. And because, yeah, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, no, who was it? Was it Stone Cold? Well, some of the guys even at the end of Andre's career, when he could barely lift things, but then he just sat on you, and if he didn't like you, he farted. So don't play around with this.
No.
Yeah. And,
No.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got to get going.
All right, man.
I will talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
Hey, it's good seeing you, Sal.
Take care, man.
See you, bud.
Yeah, I'm thinking of winding down as well. It's 2:30, and at 6 noon Eastern tomorrow it's Yoda Day, and then directly after that I'm having my fundraising stream towards Sakurai Anderson Defense, and to get Ian Runkle to eat a banana pizza.
A banana pizza.
Yeah, because Ian, you can't threaten Ian with heat or weird foods. But the texture of a warm banana on a pizza is something completely different. Because he has this, if you donate to his
why y'all
Extra
don't get
Life.
into a lot of wars.
Might force him to eat bananas on pizza.
Well, yeah, it's like what happens if somebody took over Sweden? Then you're stuck
with banana
with
pizza.
We
Don't
have
go, man. Don't do it.
we have a lot of surströmming in storage. We can fight back in lots of ways.
Awesome.
Oh God!
I'm
I
over
have
here for
heard
dinner.
tales.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but tomorrow, Ian, when he starts, he will have this. He will eat a pizza, and the donations decides which kind of topping he will have on it, and people can go as gross as possible. And I say banana. And since I know he claims he can't find a pizzeria in Canada or around his area that has that, yeah, and I told him, buy a banana, slice it, microwave the slices for 30 seconds to get them all mushy and weird, put that on the pizza. But for that, it has to be through donations to his Extra Life fundraiser.
You go.
Yeah. Yeah, Runkle hasn't even started.
Ian's good people. In fact, Ian's the only law trooper who's ever shot my personal concealed carry pistol.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
Oh wow.
Cool. Yeah.
That Sig 365.
Yep.
Oh.
That's sweet. Man.
Swedish government, I have no idea what these people are talking about now because gun laws and stuff. Just saying.
Are you gonna go for the 365 Max, or you played with it yet?
I don't think so. I'm very so. Like in my community, I'm like the gun guy because I have a bunch of guns and stuff, and I shot competitively for many years.
It's amazing how those things collect.
But I'm compared to like a gun guy, I'm not a gun guy. So I'm not a fanatic about guns because they're guns. I'm very interested in the guns I carry and I use. I know them intimately well. But guns I don't carry and use, I don't care about those. So weird variations or colors or I don't care. For me, guns are utilitarian tools, and the tools I rely on, I know extremely well, and I run extremely well. But other guns and stuff that I've not shot, I don't have any opinion about them.
Makes perfect sense to me.
My thing with it is that so like on the 365 stuff, you keep seeing SIG, and it seems like everybody else they're going from polymer back to metal, and that's why I think it's neat. I haven't shot any of those yet. I think it's neat because it's how the market changes. You know, it's one big circle.
I think it's mostly marketing. Listen, for 25 years, I carried a all-steel 1911 5-inch pistol, and so in 45 ACP, and it was a great gun. It shot great. I used it competitively. It was a great gun. It held 9 rounds, and I was living in a state that had a very tight magazine capacity level. I could only have 10 rounds anyway, so may as well carry the 45. But I've carried that all-steel gun. I've carried polymer guns. I've carried the 365 XL for 5 years now, and it's a I got to be honest, in my opinion, that the actual gun doesn't matter that much. Most people pay a lot of attention to the gun and the models and all this kind of stuff, and most of them can't shoot. So if you can't actually run the gun, it hardly matters what you're buying.
Right.
I would encourage people not to buy a bunch of guns. Buy one gun. Buy something that has a good reputation, a Glock or a SIG 365 or whatever you're comfortable with. Buy one gun, buy 10,000 rounds of ammo and a lot of training, and get good with that one gun.
Mm-hmm.
All our ammo is going to another country now.
Well, anyone who people. Some of us have been buying ammunition for 40 years, so.
Okay, David just ended his stream, and they are pulling people over here. Let me just visit the big boys' room, and we can go for another half hour, I guess. Hey, people.
Is that how long it's going to take, Nick? A half an hour to go?
I know it does. Right?
Well, it has a long way to travel.
Right, of course. Naturally.
Oh, no, that's not what you're supposed to say. It's the other way around. It's supposed to be the other way.
Yeah, I'll be back in 90 seconds. Grift yourself before you grift yourself. What time is it? It is. Everybody grift yourself while I
said I got 9:30.
All right, I'll start. Lawofselfdefense.com. Teach self-defense law. You get this book, best-selling book on Amazon, but don't buy it on Amazon. They'll charge you for the book and shipping and handling. We only ask you to cover the shipping and handling. We'll give you the book for free, real physical book, not some BS PDF download. We'll mail you a real physical book, lawofselfdefense.com/free book. It's free, MFers. I can't make it less expensive than free. We just ask that you pay the postal service for getting the book to you. Lawofselfdefense.com. That's me. All right, next.
Go for
Expert,
it.
you got it?
Nah, man.
Go for it. Fine. All right, y'all. I'm Kaiser Pineapple, and I cover a lot of movie and entertainment news over on my channel. Trying to keep an eye on what is going down with, culture, because as the late, great Andrew Breitbart once said, politics is downstream from culture, so that's kind of the way I always look at things. So I try to analyze where the culture is, where it's going. I got videos, usually 5 days a week. I try to put those out. I've been taking a little bit of a break because of the illness. And then usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m., I do a live stream. Wednesdays, we do Edge of Reality, covering Unexplained. And then on Thursdays, I usually do Real Talk Live, doing a little bit more of the in-depth analysis on, the ins and outs of Hollywood, or otherwise covering some fun movie talk that, just stuff that we enjoy. So if you got a chance, come on over to Kaiser Pineapple, hit the like button and subscribe. I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers, hoping to get that by Christmas. Can't do it without all your support and help. But hey, come on by. We'll have some fun.
All right.
I'm a show about nothing. I'm a show about nothing. I talk about whatever's going on, man. I don't even know what I'm talking about 99% of the time. But anyway, I have been challenged. It's a personal challenge now. It's not me. Well, hold on. I messed up my words. Doesn't matter. I am looking for subs because I want to hit 3,000. Now that seems to be the cool kid club. I want to be like Nick.
Show off.
I'm like 100 and something away. So that's all I'm looking for. It doesn't cost you anything. Much like Bronco over here. He's got the free book. I've got the free, please come over and sub and help me get to 3,000. And that way I can tell my wife that I'm a success.
Oh, you don't got any more
I'm not a success. She's in the chat right now. So I had to harass her. Love you guys. No, you need views. That's what you always need. Views.
Yeah. Hey, Expert, where are you located? You're on the East Coast?
Yeah, I'm in Tennessee.
Tennessee. All right, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to Nashville.
Oh, dude,
Nice.
Nashville doesn't exist anymore.
No, I don't mean the real city. I mean the suburbs around the city. But
Yeah, I don't know about
yeah,
Nashville.
I
man.
understand. I understand. Listen, I just have to.
No, I used to live
Colorado's
there.
getting so bad.
Nashville is my town. Nashville is my absolute town, and it's full of Californians now. It's
Yeah, so right, Colorado's the same way. That's why we're leaving Colorado. I figure
I would
every
go-
5 years I'm going to have to move again. I'm just trying to keep just barely ahead of the zombie horde out of California.
I would go east. I would go east of Nashville. I go east. Knoxville's
The trouble
great.
we have is we're very. I got 2 little girls, so we're very particular about their education and their schools, and it's hard to find super quality schools if you get too far from a major city.
Nashville is the nickname is the Athens of the South, and it's the reason why was because of the number of private schools they had. Nashville got
Athens?
into the whole private school thing. They're a metropolitan government because they were suffering of white flight back when segregation was ending, and so that's so they became a metro, and then all these private schools started popping up, and that's anyway, that's what Nashville's their nickname is, the Athens of the South. Knoxville has an incredible amount of private schools as well. They have a really good Catholic school. I don't know if that matters.
That matters, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, Catholic in Knoxville's great. It's smaller, but and you talk about it's 150 miles from the one end to the other. But yeah, I don't know why Tennessee though.
Why Tennessee? No income tax, temperate weather compared to where I used to live in Boston and where I live here in Colorado. There are good schools outside of Nashville, private schools. We found some good ones. I know people who live there. There's good motorcycle riding within a couple hours of the city, and that's key to me because that's my passion is riding my motorcycle. So like Florida, for example, would be off the table because there's no good riding in Florida.
Yeah. Nashville is see that income tax is funny because you've got one in Colorado. Because I would say like
And
South
it's going
Carolina,
up. It's going up.
well, see, I would say like South Carolina is great. Greenville is it's a city that's been built pretty much since BMW moved in there. It is it's great technological, all that stuff. Anyway, South Carolina's got so close to all the beaches and everything. But of course, the beaches don't offer schools. I understand that.
Right.
But I'm from Memphis originally. I know Memphis has a lot of problems, but you know
I know
what's
Memphis.
you know Memphis.
I
You know what's funny?
You couldn't pay me to go into Memphis without a gun.
Well, you shouldn't go anywhere without one.
Yeah,
You know what's
fair
funny is the safest zip code in Tennessee, and it may be, I forget how big of a safety thing it is, but it's Germantown. It's the safest area in Tennessee. Nashville, people like their numbers for crime and all that stuff. So I was like,
but the
oh,
neighboring
looks so good
Polish
and low.
town is not so safe.
I don't know why it's called
Germantown keeps rolling in and taking over.
But Nashville's been notorious for faking their numbers on a lot of stuff. It's a very, very
Yeah,
look at
everybody
who their
does.
new mayor
All the
is.
urban centers do. They lie. Their crime numbers, and the crime numbers are all going through the roof. By the way, even as
but
they're
it was
lying
so
about it.
weird because Nashville wasn't like Nashville. It doesn't fit the rest of the mantra. And it's like, of course, it's the capital of Tennessee, but all the leadership and everything, they're all. It's funny. Tennessee's a super majority Republican state, but yet we don't do conservative stuff if politics matters to you. So I get in a lot of arguments. My background was in politics before I went to law school. But anyway, it's like all the leadership and everything's all from East Tennessee, and I think there's a reason for that. But yeah, if the problem, I'll tell you, here's the worst problem about Nashville is that the interstate all the way from Kentucky to Alabama is just gridlock now. And it used to not be. They always say, "Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to." they're not going to do anything. They've been setting up for 100 years. They've their dream. This was the elite. I hate to use that word, but it's lack of a better term. Their dream 50 years ago was to be Atlanta, and they wanted to build like a perimeter. yeah, can you believe that? You know how
Imagine
how
wanting to be Atlanta.
right? And you know how they had that perimeter around Atlanta, the interstate deal. Well, they started doing that. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to do that. It's going to be so great. We're going to connect all these places. It's like they're going to build. It's 840 is this big thing. It made it from I-40 to like I-65, and then it stopped. And they're like, the people that own all the farmland on the other side of this the interstate said, no, we're not selling it to you.
We don't want that. Yeah, we
don't want. And they're like, but why would you not want that? We've already done all this stuff, and we went ahead and started our master plan, and it's like, yeah, it's not what we want. So we have this. You have just it's weird, man. It's so weird. I don't know. Nashville. Now, see, I went to law school in Nashville, man. I mean, dude, Nashville was my town, dude. I loved it. I asked my wife to move there. If we had moved there when I asked her to, we could probably retire right now. I mean, is that not weird? Sell a house, and because it was,
hey, Danielle,
just the opportunity was there. But now it's so expensive, and it's weird. I don't know what to say. But again,
so I mean, I find myself in a weird situation because I'm reasonably successful. I can afford to live anywhere I want in America.
Yeah.
And the nature of my business doesn't require me to be in any particular place. So I literally I could be anywhere. I could be in the Glacier National Park in Montana. I mean, for my work, it doesn't make any difference as long as I have an internet connection. I'm all good. But I got two young kids. I got to educate. They got to go to a good school. The school has to be satisfactory to my wife, who's in charge of that kind of stuff. And so that tends to bind us to some city center, someplace, and they all suck.
Yeah, they do. They do. And here's the thing. I hate telling people advice. I really do. But yeah, there's the magic word. Okay, look at your situation. You're a gun guy, you're a lawyer, and you're an internet dude. So the number one thing is you need high-speed internet. You're a gun guy. Well, guess what? We got Smith & Wesson's in Maryville, Tennessee, right outside Knoxville. Their whole headquarters moved down there. Somebody else is moving around there. I know Beretta's outside of Nashville and Gallatin, but they still have their Maryland plant as well. Smith & Wesson is the biggest move, I think, in history. You have
I worked very closely with Smith & Wesson for many years because, of course, they were in Springfield, Massachusetts, was their headquarters for like 150 years.
Yep.
There you go.
Until the Commonwealth of Massachusetts finally drove them out of the state.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. And then you got like Smoky Mountain Knife Works. So they now have Smoky Mountain guns. It's like the largest gun thing there is. You've got who's the Buds guns, right? Yeah, Buds. They're Hickok 45.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's sponsored by Bud's Guns and
I met him.
That's the
I
dude.
forget,
And
an NRA show or a SHOT Show or something. I have a photo with him someplace.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So like he's always like they have a photocopy up there that says
He's
Bud's
super tall,
Guns,
by the
you
way. He's a giant dude.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like
he
what,
is.
6'5"?
Yeah.
It's something crazy. I mean, I'm 6'1", so normally I'm like the tallest person in the room here in America, but he's way taller than me.
It's funny. Ryan Upchurch, the country guy, it's like he hangs out. He's like, hey man, he came on my channel one time and he's like, dude, like I knew nothing about him or anything. He just kind of dropped in. It was because of that Kylie Rodney girl. And he came in, he's like, hey man, you ever go to this place up in Sevierville called Bud's Guns? I'm like, yeah, man, I was there last weekend. He's like, yeah, man, I just bought a new, I think he got like a 30-30. He's like, yeah, deer season's coming up. I wanted stainless steel, one of the last Marlins, before they went to Ruger. He's like,
336.
who's there?
336. I got one.
Yeah, he's like, Hickok 45, my buddy, he's up there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I still can't hunt with a 30-30 here in my state.
That's so weird.
Really?
Yeah.
What state is that?
Indiana.
You can't use a 30-30 to hunt deer in Indiana?
Nope. they have a cartridge casing like length restriction.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
90% of the deer I've ever shot have been with a 30-30.
Which is funny because when you really think about it,
shot.
Here's the funny part, because they've recently relaxed the restrictions, so you can't hunt with a 30-30, but you can hunt with a 45-70.
Oh,
well, I mean, a lot of power behind a 45-70, but look, a 30-30 is basically an AK-47 round, you know. But
yeah,
so
I
I wouldn't try to shoot a deer at distance with a 30-30. The parabola trajectory is crazy. But in where I hunted was upstate New York, lots of woods, lots of brush. It's all close in. The deer is always within 50 yards, 75 yards. For that, a 30-30 lever action gun with a nice short barrel is perfect.
Oh yeah, it'd be perfect, but unfortunately, the state legislature doesn't see it that way.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hey, I just thought one more thing. You ever hear the dragon tail?
Tail of the dragon?
Tail of the dragon, yeah. The big motorcycle deal.
I've been there. It's
okay. Yeah, that's right there, not far from Bud's Guns, Smoky Mountain Guns, all that stuff. Right there, Sevierville, Tennessee, man, right outside Knoxville.
So what I would tell motorcyclists is you should go there at least once. It's a bucket list item. Do it, but it's super crowded, and the law enforcement presence is unbelievable. And much of the speed limit is 35 miles an hour, so it can be a very slow ride over the tail of the dragon. And there are roads that are just as good with no cops on them in those mountains that are not tail of the dragon. I would encourage you to explore those other roads.
Dude, if you get in the Smokies when the sunrise is coming up,
I've been there. I've ridden up and down the Blue Ridge Parkway, tail of the dragon. I've done because I lived in Boston and I had friends in Washington, D.C. So I used to ride back and forth all the time to see my buddies, and I would take that route. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's not the Rocky Mountains.
No, but you're not moving to the Rocky Mountains. You're already there. You're moving from there.
I know. I have to say, I will miss it. I will miss the Rockies for the riding. But I have been here 5-6 years, and I think I've ridden all of it like 4 times. So it is great, though. I've ridden all over the world, and the Rocky Mountains are by far the best motorcycle riding anywhere in the world, as far as I'm better than the Alps.
Have you ever streamed it?
Streamed it? You mean like
the whole ride?
No, it's boring. People don't want to watch that. It's boring.
Dude,
I mean, I have a GoPro. I have recorded.
Have you met T-Rex Trucking by chance?
Yeah, man.
When you're on the bike, when you're the rider, it's fun. But to watch it on a TV screen, I mean, it's not the same.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, YouTube's full of weirdos.
No.
Well, the reason why I say
my channel.
Well, the reason why I say that is because there's that part of me that I don't want you to leave something that you love so much. If you do leave that, I want to offer that I think you ought to think about doing like a major goodbye to it. We don't have that. We don't have that sentimental. You can stop like where you think's the most beautiful areas. You can show it to people like a travel vlog almost, but those are just cheap, kids and vans things. I mean, this is with your love affair of it, your experience of it. I mean, man, I just think it'd be cool. It'd be a neat thing just to put on like on Sundays, and because I always have I watch airplanes land at LAX for 4 or 5 hours a day on Sundays, man. It's just calm and soothing. If you haven't seen that channel, by the way, that is the best, just like having the background type stuff. But I think it'd be cool, man. And you could end up, you're a writer. I mean, you could write a journal while you're doing it, put it out. You'd be surprised, man. I think it'd be a great success. I don't see why it wouldn't. Everything you touch is golden.
I would just tell people if you love riding motorcycles and you haven't come out to the Rocky Mountains between the months of May and October, you've not lived. You've not lived. I mean, for many people, they've never ridden a motorcycle over a 10,000-foot pass in their lives, and you can do 10,000-foot passes in Colorado in one day. I mean, I've done it. It's unbelievable.
Cool. Right there's the first paragraph. Right there's the first paragraph.
It's unbelievable, and every curve, every lean is a fucking postcard. of beauty. It's unbelievable. And that's just Colorado. From Colorado, you get to southern Utah, you get up into Montana, you get up into the Black Hills, all within a few hours. It's incredible.
Dude, Google Earth the map, put it out there, do a whole separate like YouTube page for this stuff, man. Because like what you just said there, you have me hooked in the first paragraph of this journey you're gonna take.
I'm also not making any money right now, am I? So I'm highly focused on making money. that's kind of my driver in life, and I don't do that riding motorcycles around. So
that's what I'm trying to turn it into money for you. Yeah. I'm like, I just, it's a double-sided thing. Sorry.
One of the medium-sized Let's Go Travel channels has Nate and Kara are going up towards 1 million subscribers now. And they've been at it a few years, but they reached 250,000 within 3 months.
The trouble is, to be successful on YouTube, you really have to be producing content for your channel at least on a weekly basis, usually more often. And I don't do that. So for example, from October to May, I'm not really riding a motorcycle around Colorado because all the passes are closed. The mountains are closed. I may do a trip out to Texas. I probably will. I may fly someplace and do a trip overseas, and I probably will. But that's like every couple of months I would have a video, which is not how to be successful on YouTube. You just the algorithm doesn't like that.
No, this is you're already a celebrity, and you're like people will support
for law.
you. But yeah, but these people will support you for doing. Dude, I don't ride motorcycles, man. I don't live in Colorado. None of this stuff is my life. But like, I'm already fired up thinking about you, and all of a sudden you do you get to the super chat thing going and stuff. And how long does that trip take you? I don't know. Let's say it takes 6 weeks. Whatever it does, you're just doing that one trip. You're going to put it all. You have your video blog of it. You link it to your journal that you just write a paragraph a day, and you put it all together, and then you just let it sit there, and then you advertise it like you do your law of self-defense, and just see what happens.
Well, I might. I'm actually taking a 2-week motorcycle trip in a couple days. So
that's awesome.
I charged up. I had given up on the whole GoPro thing, but I'm feeling weak again. So I charged up all my 15 GoPro batteries.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to bring it with me, and I'll see. I'll try to record it and see if it turns into something entertaining.
This channel, all she does is go on cruises. She does that 3 months a year, and then she divides the content over the year. And I've seen her stats on a separate page because I was just wondering what the fuck does she make? And she has on her advertising per 1,000 views, I think it's over $20 per 1,000 views.
Oh wow!
And
I would tell people I don't ride motorcycles to make money. I ride motorcycles because it's my passion. And if you ride a motorcycle and you've never ridden the Rocky Mountains and you would like a 100% free guide, just contact me and ride your bike out here. I mean, you got to pay your own way. I'm not paying your bills for you, but ride your way out here, and I will show you life-changing rides in Colorado that you could do in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and I'll do it for free because I love riding them myself.
Dude, you make me want to buy a motorcycle.
Don't do it. Don't do it. They're dangerous.
Honey, can I have a motorcycle?
No.
I want to go hang out and ride in Colorado.
No, people ask me all the time. They're like, Andrew, I'm thinking about getting a motorcycle. I know you ride. Should I get a motorcycle? And I always tell them, fuck no. Motorcycles are dangerous.
If you want a motorcycle, you already have.
You'd already have it. If you the only reason to do it is you have a passion for it, and if you had a passion for it, you wouldn't be asking me. You'd be doing it already. So anybody who asks me, I tell them don't do it.
Yeah, and I have a quad bike, 125 cc's, but that's out of both necessity, and I kind of wanted it. I didn't have to ask anybody. It's like my tractor. Who asked me to buy a new tractor? A small, not a new one, but the small fuck tractor. And nobody, because I saw it, I needed it, I bought it. I didn't need to ask one soul on this planet.
That's a new definition of bush hog, man.
I mean, you've seen my fuck tractor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the. Where,
I don't remember you being called that though.
I mean, there it is, my fuck tractor.
I would caution people that if you come out to ride in Colorado, know how to ride. Okay, please don't show up here like a week out of your MSF course, because the roads here are quite technical.
Yeah, but my dad rode both. What do you call it? Off road, and Goldwing. He tried it all.
Right.
But now he's too old, so now he bought a huge. For the past 5 or 6 years, Mom and Dad has been spending the winters in Portugal. They spent the entire 2-year thingy that just happened in Portugal, because if we are supposed to be isolated, I want to do it where it's warm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm looking at a motorcycle trip in Portugal. I've actually never been there.
There you go.
It's
Do you have to rent a motorcycle when you get over there?
I would have to rent. Well, I would book it through a motorcycle tour company. The one I tend to use is Edelweiss. So it's like booking a tour with any kind of European tour agency, but they provide the motorcycle for you. Yeah.
Wow,
That's cool.
I just did Eastern Europe this past summer. It was great.
that's so
Yeah,
crazy.
and they just
A lot of
yesterday.
content's all I'm hearing.
Just yesterday, they sent this picture. We're in
Awesome.
Portugal. They have this tiny, teeny little motorhome.
It's not that small.
It's got a third axle. It ain't that small.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Both, my stepmom and my dad, they have been in the workforce 45 years. If you can, do. I mean, save up. Not legal advice or economic. I am not the person who can give out economic, but the most general advice I've seen is 10% of your income, put it away if you can. I know there's a lot of people who can't. It's if you can, 10% of you. Is that pay yourself first theory? That you before
And it
you
depends
pay
on how young you start.
Yeah.
Right? If you're
And that
smart
can
enough
be
to
like-
start young, you can do 5%.
Yeah,
But
yeah, exactly. If you start when you're 16, you can. I mean, it's $10 a month, $50 a month, whatever. Now, if you reach your 40s, now you're talking about $150, $200 a month and stuff like that. But the earlier you start, if you have then you can, because.
Good
cash is
news.
king.
Hey, listen, good news. My wife here in the chat, she says, hope I make it to Colorado safe and sound. So that means I can get a motorcycle and come out there. But the bad news is that I know the way she wrote that is I'm also getting divorced.
Oh.
So that's no, babe, I'm cool, honey. We'll hang out. Maybe we'll see Andrew's motorcycle someday in
I
Tennessee.
say you'd be riding a unicycle because she'll take half of it.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
It is funny
yeah.
though. The family that lives across the street from us last summer, the guy like out of nowhere shows up with a motorcycle, and I'm like, "Oh man, I see you have a motorcycle. Can I look at it?" It's like, "Oh yeah, it's a nice bike. It's an Indian motorcycle. It's really nice." But it's unusual to see someone who's 40 and just like out of
Yeah.
nowhere buy a motorcycle. Well, 6 months later, they're divorced.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess that was part of the whole thing, the whole gestalt.
Yeah, I know a couple that did that happen too.
Yeah. But
Yeah, my wife forbids me from ever riding a motorcycle, and I'm like, yeah, I you know what? I think I'm okay. She's like, you're worth more to me alive than dead.
It is an inherently dangerous hobby.
Yeah.
So I have a passion for riding motorcycles. I do not encourage people to get into motorcycles.
Everything you do is dangerous.
Yeah, I got married twice. I use guns. I ride motorcycles. I've even gone
Lawyer.
skydiving.
I mean,
Lawyer?
statistically, you should almost be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You're an international man of mystery or danger. International man of danger. Oh, that's awesome. If I ever see you again,
Danger
I'm gonna tell you
man.
that. Hey, I was supposed to ask you about watches. I forgot about that. Ghazni told me that one long time ago, but never mind.
Yeah, so I'm a watch guy like I'm a gun guy. So I don't really
geez.
consider myself a gun guy. I have very expensive taste in watches. My watch preference is Rolex, and they're basically they're started around 10 grand a watch. But I saw a watch this morning. Actually, I was on a different stream and someone recommended it, and it looks really really nice. I was almost thinking I might actually get one. Nomadic, Nomadic. They're out of Belfast. They make custom watches. They're still expensive. Don't get me wrong. They're like $1,000, but they're not $15,000.
No, it's not bad.
And they make watches. They make a diving watch that looks very much like a Rolex Submariner, maybe even nicer, frankly. For a fraction of the cost.
I have one of these. Not up here, but I have it around. Pioneer is
so nice.
one of these watches that are, I mean, they're not cheap, but it's not up there expensive. But they do make very, very nice looking watches.
Now let's admit it. I'll be the first person to admit it. What are these watches, right? You can buy a $50 watch that'll tell time perfectly well. So they're not for the
They're
purpose
art.
of telling time.
They are
They're-
jewelry for men.
Yes, of course, right? They're kind of indicia of success or whatever you want to call them.
My
I mean,
Casio
that's-
G-Shock is shriveling.
Well, that's why those of us who buy expensive watches, they're no better than my Rolex keeps worse time than your Casio.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean,
my Rolex is like plus 2 seconds a day or something, plus or minus 2 seconds a day. Your Casio is a million times more accurate in timekeeping than that. So these are decorations. They're not anything anybody needs to have. They're things that you buy because, I mean, partly for me, it's theater, right? I'm a successful lawyer. I have to present as a successful lawyer. I drive a BMW. I wear a Rolex watch. I mean, I wear a suit. I wear a tie normally, not tonight. But it's almost part of the costume for what I do. But nobody needs a Rolex. No one needs $1,000 watch. These are things you do.
If you want to tell time, you have the
your phone. Everyone, right? We all have our phones.
See, for me, it's different. For me, it's the old world. At one point it was the top of technology. It's that old world craftsmanship. It's the love of being able to put together something so meticulous and so difficult and so hard. Not everybody can put together a watch that runs good. And certain people just have that ability, and it's the Swiss. They're just born like it to do it. It seems like, and it's something that when all this technological world we have, and everything's all beeping and bopping all the time, you can hear that little, when it gets quiet enough, you hear the tick tick tick, or you look down and you get to wonder at the gears and the mechanism, how it's working. It's all off of like the motion of your wrist. It's just, to me, it takes you back. It makes everything simple with probably one of the most technological mechanical pieces I will ever have, besides like a car. But even a car is so electronic now. It's a love affair. It's a romance. Romancing the watch.
But watches stopped being how to tell time and becoming jewelry in the 80s when digital watches came around. Because if it was all about technology and telling time, digital watches are superior. But they look like shit.
Right. So every day when I wear my Rolex, I set the Rolex using my phone.
You probably ask Siri what time it is.
Right, exactly.
That's what I do. I don't even look at it. I just like, hey, what time is it?
Yeah. You had digital watches with built-in calculators in the 80s.
Yeah.
That is 40 years before the smartwatch showed up. So it was, if the watch was all about technology, no, it was. I mean, it's probably started already in the 60s, but it was never supposed, after the 1960s, it was never supposed to tell time.
I like those Seikos. I like their movement, and they're cheap. I can't believe they're just like a couple $100. You know, so people don't realize that Swatch watch. You talking about the 80s and watches?
Right.
Swatch watch.
I had a Swatch.
Yeah, and they make all the movement and all the watches now. Just about Omega, Tag Heuer, Heuer, however.
Yeah, so almost
fantastic.
almost all the watch companies that have a brand, they actually buy their movements from completely different companies. to
Yeah.
make them
Yeah.
movements.
Rolex is one of
Rolex
the
did that
few-
for most of its history. I think Rolex is now making their own movements. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
for most of their history, they were buying movements from others.
Yeah. As you say, most of the movements, even today, besides Rolex and one other brand, I think the Breitling also makes their own.
Oh,
But the
Breitling.
rest are using the same movement.
Yeah.
It's maybe 2 or 3 different manufacturers that supplies all the movements to the watches, and so it's more design. But today I've been watching one of these guys who he's a watch broker, so he gets old watches. People call him up and hire him to find them a watch. And sometimes one of these modern watches, that these designer watches, look like complete shit, but are worth $1 million. They paid $2, $3, $4, $5 million for a watch that looks like absolute shit.
Mm.
Because I don't know. Maybe us getting older, I don't know, but I would rather have a $5 watch from the local store than one of the. I mean, if I got, hey, here's a $5 million watch. Thank you. Can you sell it?
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, if I wasn't a public figure and I didn't do public speaking and I didn't have to appear in front of the public, I'd never buy a Rolex. I only buy it because I have to be at those events and I have to present in a certain way. I have to have the expensive suit and the watch and the tie and all this kind of crap. And it can't be a tie from Target. You know, it has to be a $150 tie. That's just part of the theater. But folks, especially young people out there who scoff at this theater stuff, the theater matters. People do business. They don't do it based on reason. They do it based on emotion. They do it based on how they feel about other people and how you present to the world. You may think it's nonsense. Why should I do all this? But how you present to the world affects how the world reacts to you and whether they're willing to trust you and give you money and rely on you. They're looking for something that makes them comfortable. And if you present in a certain way, it makes a difference. And does that mean I'm paying 1,000 times more for a watch than I should be? Yeah, probably. But that makes my customer base feel more comfortable about me, and they pay me the money that allows me the luxury of being able to afford something like that. But if I was just a farmer, I wouldn't need a Rolex.
But when I enter negotiations, I do research on the people I'm negotiating, who is at the other side of the table. Some of them are people I can show up in a warning vest and hard hat just to scare them. Some don't take me seriously unless I have my Pioneer suit, tie, hair slicked back. They don't take me seriously.
Right. Ironically enough, when I meet someone and they're wearing a Rolex, it doesn't mean shit to me. Because I know I wear one. It's just a costume.
Yeah. And I have my most expensive pair of shoes is $1,500. I need to wear them on Monday.
How much?
Because I'm $1,500.
$1,500. Wow.
Yeah. And I've had them for.
I have some expensive shoes, but they're not that expensive.
I love Salvador Ferragamo.
The what?
Those are my shoes. Salvador Ferragamo. Those are my shoes. He makes a good shoe.
I wear New Balance.
Wear dress shoe. No, I got Ons.
Yeah.
On.
And
No,
up
I mean
to
my
about-
fanciest pair of shoes is a pair of New Balance.
And up until 6-7 years ago, I had a Pierre Cardin suit, but then he went out of fashion, and all of a sudden I have to have a new expensive suit.
No, suits are terrible because they're like mattresses. they change the fashion for the suit every 2 years. So
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's not like
Yeah.
you can buy a suit and 10 years later still wear it. It's I hate the suit makers. they're the
Yeah.
worst. At least when you buy a Rolex, it's a classic forever.
And for you youngsters out there, if you're planning on buying a suit that you want to wear on a semi-regular basis, buy 2 pair of pants to the jacket.
Yeah.
Because you will wear that out, the pants. Because
Oh, I was gonna say you want some with the elastic in the waist.
I know I
That's only
Amazing
when
after a couple of banquet
I have
dinners.
elastics when I go to a buffet. I
Couple
mean,
of bean burritos.
Yeah. You're like, wow. You're like, man,
yeah.
this
But
isn't as comfortable as it was when I put it on.
Yeah, but here's the thing: once you get to a certain level, you need to meet expectations. Yeah, sometimes in labor law, I can just walk in a dirt in my in overalls just to piss them off because I know it will piss them off because I need to do that to gain something.
That's its own theater.
Yeah, it's a
right.
I mean, here's the thing, I could do a 5-hour stream just about how to dress and stuff, depending on different situations. That would be interesting to 3 other people. I mean, but that's the theater of law. You need to meet
of life,
expectations
of human society.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah, meet expectations. How to know when you need a shock factor. It's like appearing in court. I mean, some people have a distinct style. Others have to adapt.
We all present in a certain way, right? So every Sunday I go to our church. There's 1,000 people. It's a huge church. 1,000 people show up. Near as I can tell, I am the only motherfucker there in a tie and a jacket. Now, granted, this is not a Roman Catholic church. It's a Lutheran church. My wife picked it. I was raised Roman Catholic, so that's a more formal kind of mindset. I guess I carry it over with me. But I can't bring myself to go to church in a t-shirt and shorts. I just can't do it. It feels weird to me. But most of the congregation is fine with it. But I choose to present myself in a certain way, and I don't know if it makes a difference or not. But I feel better about myself, I guess. So I guess it's just narcissistic. Never mind. Sorry, I brought it up.
Well, no, it's funny. That's yeah, I don't know. Catholic Church, man. We tend to wear shorts,
right,
year round.
I know. I see you. It's like a wife beater, shorts, like little shorty shorts and a cowboy hat. I see you every Sunday in my church.
That's me.
Tank tops on the ladies,
and of course, there's nothing wrong with it, right? I mean, for what matters? You go into church to worship God, right? So
yeah,
who cares? So. But it's part of the theater I'm talking about, and in some respects that matters more than others.
My wife is Methodist, and so when she first went to a Catholic church, she was like, "Why doesn't anybody in here use the cry room?" I'm like, I don't know. I've never been to a Catholic church that uses the cry room. They're all out there. Every baby is out there screaming, crying. And they have a whole room in the back that's glassed in.
It is funny.
Quiet.
Someone should write a book or do a movie about this, because I've personally had I was raised Roman Catholic, but I've had a very complicated path through Christianity. They're very, very different churches, and oh my God, they're so different from each other.
Right?
You think the fundamental principles are the same, but the culture of the churches are so. They are humorously different from each other. I can't believe no one's done a movie about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it would be good. You know, it's like, hey, I'm trying to find I'm trying to find my religion. You know, and it's like you go through and My mom is Southern Baptist, and what I learned from Southern Baptist
A very
is
distinct flavor.
okay. So you have the First Baptist Church, and that's on this corner. Then down the hill at that corner is the Second Baptist Church. And it's like, what's the difference between First Baptist and Second Baptist? It says Southern Baptist on the outside. She says, well, down here at Second Baptist, what happened is up here at First Baptist, they got a guy in there preaching that's kind of a little kooky. And, you know, so nobody liked him. So everybody just left there and they started another church down here on the second one. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. My dad's Catholic, and so like we moved around a lot and stuff. And it was go on vacation, Sundays, wherever you go, church is the same.
Yeah,
still dealing with that trauma.
Well, in America, unfortunately, most of the Christian churches are so corrupted by progressive fascism these days that it's hardly worth going. But we spent we've been in Colorado 5 years, and we spent 5 years finding a church that where the pastor would actually say, sin exists and there are things you can do that are bad. every other church we were here for 5 years in Colorado, it's like, well, do whatever you want. God loves you. It's all good. There's no bad decisions. Everything's fine. And my primary interest in religion is to guide my children to a better life and making good life choices themselves. And if the pastor is telling them, do whatever you want, then that's...
I tend to, to my nieces and nephews, I can use me as a warning example. I mean,
right.
So the drinking on stream is bad, using nicotine is bad, and everything. But a couple of decades ago, I dated a Northern Irish Catholic girl. And that was
awesome.
First time. Redhead with huge personality.
Huge tracts of land.
Now, her mother was a Catholic convert. Now, that was interesting because among the Catholics, well, who's your mother? Who's your grandmother? Because they want to find out, are you a true Catholic, like 400 generations?
No, there's a lot of fakes. They're right to do that. There's a lot of fakes. There's a lot of chameleons out there. There's a lot of reborn virgins.
Yeah.
Well, she definitely wasn't. But yeah, it was really, really interesting because the Catholic shame is amazing. The Catholic shame.
Yeah, and
because lights on, she was chastity personified. Lights off, she more or less tore my cock off. I mean, it was amazingly fun.
They're awesome. But you know what? I think, and of course, reasonable people can disagree, but I think we underestimate in modern society what a superpower shame is. I think shame is a cultural superpower. I think we have far too little of it today. I think we should be shaming people much more. And I was raised in an era where, you know, shaming someone was by default a terrible thing to do. You're practically a Nazi. Everyone can live their own life and be free and whatever. But I think we're seeing the consequences of that in kind of the collapse of modern society. And I've come as I mature, age, and get older, I've come to realize that shame is really a societal superpower. It serves an evolutionary purpose.
Yeah.
By keeping the chaos of human behavior in check.
So I mean, you don't have to go to the degree of, having your head in the lock and stuff like that. But
I don't know. I think the stockade needs to come back for some people.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In the 2010s dating site, when they start popping off, this phrase went somehow from "you're an asshole" to acceptable. If you don't enjoy me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. What a load of bull crap. That's just an excuse for being a cunt.
Well,
and that
fair enough.
I would note for the record that I did not say that.
It's my channel.
I would have said punt like the football, you know. Punt, No offense, Snake, but I get enough heat from what I say. So
I love you, man. I swear.
I mean, and there are male equivalents to that. You don't, if you don't like me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. That's just an excuse for
men are held accountable.
Your low base level is who you are. That's how you present yourself. That's you.
It's the best that anybody should expect. I think would be the fair way to put
and
it.
If
and
you
I think that's true of everybody, men and women.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be if I'm at my worst, I don't show myself outdoors because I don't want to present that way. I don't like myself that way, but sometimes I am that way. But through shame, I don't want to present the way I am when I'm at my worst. And all of a sudden, a decade ago, that became acceptable. And look where we are now.
In fact, we incentivize people to be at their worst because you can do it on TikTok and get 1 million views and actually profit monetarily by being at your worst. That's a bad plan for society.
What's your TikTok channel called?
Mine?
I will not try to say that.
I mean, I'll tell you, it's blow.
Oh, you do have one.
Yeah, blowme.com is my channel.
Nice.
I mean, what else would it be?
Well, when you come to,
I am, after all, a capitalist.
Yeah, when you come to the male equivalent, I don't know. There are those fake betas or fake alphas out there who has no shame, who believes, look at me, I'm so alpha. And all I'm seeing is you have a Twitter account with 52 people following you, who one of them is Andrew Tate, the other one is Professor Peterson, and then trolls. You're not an alpha. If you are an alpha, you definitely have. If you follow 500 people and 50 follow you back, you're not an alpha.
We live in this weird media life, though, don't we? So, of course, if someone's genuinely an alpha, they don't have to tell anybody. They just are, right?
Yeah.
But we live in this weird media world where if people are trying to sell themselves as alpha, then they have to market themselves as alpha, and they do this kind of nonsense you're talking about. But I mean, listen, any of us, we're all men, right? Only 4 men here in the room. All of us know if we were to walk into a room with 50 guys, within 10 seconds, we have a sense of the hierarchy in the room.
Yeah.
Of who's the alpha, who, and I don't mean beta in a negative sense. I just imagine like a 1 to 10 scale, right? Who's the 10? Who's the 9? Who's the 8? Who's the 7? Within seconds, we have a sense of that. Now, it may not be perfect. We may have to readjust as we actually gain personal knowledge of people. We may move people up or down the scale. But as men, that's what we do. When I walk into a room, I'm making pretty much an instant assessment of where I think everybody is in the hierarchy.
Yeah. And I try to compare that with, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And because you need to learn somehow. If you walk into a room, because you can be the top dog in one room, and you can be number 4 in another.
Oh,
That's the way it is.
Yeah. And no one, by the way, no one is more vicious about that hierarchy than women. So if you took 10 guys who are all 10s, right? They're all Brad Pitts, and you put them
like
on an
us
island,
4 plus 6 more.
Right, of course. And you put them on an island.
I mean, I'm a solid
women,
2.
Those women would immediately scale those men who are all 10s objectively into a 1 to 10 rating.
You know who's going to get the 10?
Right.
The first one that builds a fire.
Well, maybe the second one who builds the fire. The first guy's dead. But
Yeah, you're right.
whatever.
I hate those terms like alpha, beta, all that stuff, because it's like as soon as you hear that, you know the conversation's over. You know it's gone down to like
But
somebody
we
read
all-
a self-help
guys
book.
know where we are, right? Guys
Yeah.
know where we are because we're out there in the either we are now or we have been in the past. We're out there in the sexual marketplace, and we know where we are because we can tell by how women respond to us, right?
Yeah.
And if you're getting a lot of positive response from women, you're higher in what they perceive to be. It's all bullshit, of course, but what they perceive to be the hierarchy. And if you're not getting a positive response, you're lower in what they perceive to be the hierarchy. So guys are checked. We're reality checked all the time. There's no way that a guy who's a 2 thinks he's a 10. That can't happen. Reality checks him on that. But
Yeah.
if you're a woman and you're on Instagram, you're getting DMs from dudes who are 9s and 10s all the time, even if you're a 3, because that's just what dudes do.
Because
Dudes
you're
are
hidden behind a
relatively
keyboard.
they're non-discriminatory about what they're willing to bang.
Yeah, and this alpha thing, if you go by science, the guy who minted the expression walked back on it because it turns out the science wasn't correct. But now we have
what expression, Nick?
The alpha. In the
yeah.
alpha, it was I think it was originally it was about some kind of monkey, but that he got back. Then you have the myth about alpha among wolves, which is also a myth because it's family, not an alpha couple and the rest. It's a family, and of course the parents
I would dump the whole alpha thing, but we also,
Yeah.
as men, we know when we walk into a room, we hear guys, the other guys in the room. We do, right?
Yeah.
We know when we meet a man if we feel like he's on our level, above our level, or below our level. We just do that. I mean, maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm the only guy who does that. I don't know.
And often the guys who are at the top has no need to express themselves. For instance, it's how others describe you. And I've told this story before about my dad. I mean, he met my mother when he was 21. 6 months later, they were married. 9 months and 2 weeks later, first kid.
Bam.
Yeah.
But what, and that was normal, right? But what didn't exist then was Instagram, right? Your mother was not getting guys dropping in her DMs 100 times a day. By the way, I know normal looking chicks. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not special. They're like 6s. Okay, a 6 is cute. 6 is cute.
Yeah.
They're getting 100 random DMs dropped in Instagram every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of attention women are getting these days from random men. And that's why when you ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you? That's why the 6 says, well, I'm a 10. Because she thinks she's a 10 because she's getting 100 guys a day who want to bang her. But none of those guys, of course, would marry her, would make the ultimate commitment. They're just looking for immediate sex. But in her head, she thinks that's her level.
Yeah.
And that's what breaks the dating and marriage market. It's because what that woman should be doing is engaging with a guy who's a 6, and they're at the same level, and they'll have a happy marriage and children and be ecstatic through all their lives. But if she believes she's actually entitled to a 9, she'll never settle for a 6. She never will.
Yeah. Yeah. And my mother,
let's be honest, most of these 6s can be taken down to a 3 with a wet wipe.
and take the filters away. No, it's fair. I mean, look, I'm presuming a normal curve, right? So it's just a normal.
A bell curve of you have the really ugly ones and the really gorgeous
most of
ones.
us are 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, right? That's where 95% of the population is. I've personally met a 9. And it was so disturbing to my male mind. I could barely talk to her. I mean, she was so beautiful. It was unbelievable. 9s and 10s are women you don't meet in your normal experience in life. We just don't see them.
Yeah.
Movie actresses and models, they're not 9s and 10s, guys. There are girls hotter than them, but you never see them because they get grabbed
See,
up.
I mean, we are talking
My
about the
experience is
Albert
different, though.
Einsteins, about the guy in the wheelchair. I mean, that's 9, 10 on
In terms of
science,
intellect,
intelligence, stuff
Stephen
like
Hawking, yeah.
that.
Right.
Stephen Hawking, yeah. That's 9s and 10s when it comes to intelligence and science and stuff
So it's
like
like
that.
it's like
They're quick-
two out of 7 billion people.
Yeah. That's where you get to 10. And for instance, my dad, according to my mom, was what you would call a dog before they met, because he could. I mean, he's taller than me by a good 2 inches, and this is what I mean, early 60s, mid 60s, when in the beginning of the revolution, so to speak. And then he met my mom, and immediately, nope, I'm done. And then kids, everything happened, and then she got the big C.
Hmm.
And he didn't. I mean, he was offered promotions. He was offered to start factories abroad. I mean, huge promotions turned down because family, and because stay with my mother. And
they'd made that mutual commitment to them. I mean, marriage is supposed to be about family. I would argue that when people get married, it's no longer about the husband and the wife. They're the least important factors in a marriage. The marriage is about the family. The family is the entity. In fact, I would argue in America, if it was Andrew's world, we wouldn't have individual voting. There would be no men voting or women voting. There'd be families voting. If you had an intact family, that family got 1 vote. And if you were not in an intact family, you don't get to vote on shit. What are you investing in the future of the nation? Nothing as an individual.
Yeah. And for me, if we go by the alpha scale, which I think is garbage, it's not about what you accept, like lots of women, lots of money, lots of cars. It's what you turn away for family.
Yeah.
That for
I
me
would
is
agree.
alpha. Yeah.
Listen, I'm very happily married. I'm a very successful guy. I have zero interest in other women. None.
Yep.
And as a relatively successful guy, I get offers all the time. I'm like, I couldn't give a shit. Sorry. I don't care. I don't care about you. I don't need any of that. I'm very happily married to my wife. She treats me very well. Being an alpha male is not getting lots of. Listen, I got a lot more tail when I was in college than I get now, because when I was in college, that's what you did. But now I'm married. I'm committed to my family. I'm committed to my wife and my children. All my resources go to them. 150% of my effort and resources, which are considerable, go to my family. My wife and children know they are getting that without diversion. That's my job. That's what I think is as my job.
Yeah, and I met my girlfriend. Well, she caught me over the fence 7 years ago. I was content in going into hermit life. Just I work until I retire, and then I go up into the woods, and then you will find me 100 years from now. That was my more or less plan, and then that wasn't the plan anymore. And she's a registered nurse, and I mean, our companionship is not the usual because we don't plan to get married. I mean, she is older than me. She has her kids. So it's the two of us. But we are committed towards each other. And I know that's not the life forever. We don't even live together. But that's the life we chose, and we are completely committed to each other. We survived. She was a registered nurse during the 2-year, all the thingies. At an ER.
Thing that happened.
The shutdown.
Yeah, at the shutdown. And during those 2 years, we got to spend maybe 2 weeks together. And we're still together. For me, that's commitment. Because we made that promise towards each other. And who knows 10 years from now? I don't care. But as of now, we're doing good.
Well, I don't think there's any point to getting married if offspring are not going to be involved. So because to me, the only purpose of marriage is to protect children. So if you're not going to have children, well, then just be adults and date. I mean,
Yeah, and she found me, and
I love being
then
married.
I discovered that that hermit life maybe wasn't such a good idea, because hermit life is very few boobs are involved in hermit life, and she has them. And
No, there's
Boobs are
usually
nice.
one boob as a hermit. You're the boob.
I need
yeah,
to gain another.
I should be clear. I don't tell people what to do or what they should do. I don't really care. People should make their own decisions. And if people are not going to have kids and want to be married, that's great. It's fantastic. All the more happiness for you. But to me, that's kind of an indulgence. I mean, you're doing it because you want to. I think the core value of the marriage oath is because your children need protection, and the only real protection for them is that their mother and father are going to protect them. No one else gives a shit. No one gives a fuck but their parents.
No.
And if the parents are going to do, there's the foster care. I mean, we all know the horror stories, right? So I think children, if you're going to bring children into the world, I think they're entitled to have that umbrella of protection over them.
Now, there are a certain percentage of both.
That's the greatest line you've ever
guys
said, Brian.
and girls who are abusive, and you should definitely get away from it. There are a certain percentage out there.
You shouldn't marry them in the first place. You should have vetted them before.
Yeah. Is it 50%? No. It isn't. And I don't have the answer.
We all know who those people are. I'm sorry, but every person who's ever told me I married someone, and then a year later they turned out to be an abusive a-hole, and I had no idea. Fuck you. You're lying. You're lying. That person did. Nobody suddenly goes from being a normal human being, and a year later they're an abusive asshole. That doesn't happen. You knew, but you were ignoring it because you wanted the attention, you wanted the love, you wanted the ceremony, you wanted to be the star of the wedding. You just you ignored all the warning flags. That's on you. You're a goddamn adult.
Yeah, and that I mean, we are talking about if the person that can change that way is a sociopath. I mean, a high-functioning sociopath, and there are extremely few of those. Extremely few. And
but if you listen to women, 60% of the male population is that dude. That's why they all filed for divorce. There's, oh my God, he was emotionally abusive to me. I had no idea. And 60% of women, not of divorces that are filed, 90% of those divorces are filed by women, and they all claim the same thing. It's, oh, okay, he didn't punch me in the face, but he was like emotionally abusive or whatever. And they always have a reason. And their kids, when they do that, when they have children, and they generally do, they put their kids at every statistical risk possible. Higher risk of prison, higher risk of drugs, higher risk of pre-marriage pregnancy, higher risk of failure in education. Imagine being a mother and taking your child and putting her on the front lines of a combat war. That's what they're doing when they file for divorce. But in their pretty little heads, they're getting custody of the kids because that's what we do by default in America. And once they get custody of kids, they get default child support, they get default possession of the house. They're paid to destroy their families and their children, and they do it. These women do it. They're I'm sorry, they're terrible.
No worries. The case I've been covering for the last week, the Adelson family, Charlie Adelson is now charged with conspiracy to commit murder and murder one, because even though he didn't pull the trigger, that's the rule in Florida. The murdered guy.
The rule should be, by the way, in America, the rule should be the father has default custody of the children, because we know statistically that children raised in single father homes have vastly better outcomes than children raised in single mother homes. So this notion that we throw these poor children into these single mother homes where we know from the evidence that they're going to have vastly worse outcomes. We're basically throwing these poor kids into a fire.
Yeah. And in the Adelson case, Dan Markell and Wendy Adelson, they had 50-50 custody. And Dan Markel wanted to be a good dad. That's all he wanted. And through court decisions, no, Wendy, you can't move to Miami with the kids.
Right.
No, Wendy, you can't do that. And then he was murdered.
Yeah. So someone has motive.
For 50-50 custody. Because allegedly, the Adelson family couldn't have it that this guy... And also, Wendy was the one who filed for divorce.
Of
One
course,
day,
because this is what
when he
happens.
was,
they always
he
think
was
grass is
he
gonna
was
be
a law
greener.
he was a law professor in Tallahassee,
Right.
And he was the law professor. I think what's his name, Peter Tragos, had him as a professor, and so he was a law professor in Tallahassee and some tenures in Florida. When she left, it was when he was on a trip to somewhere to have a lecture or something. She cleaned house and took the kids away. The court forced a 50-50 custody because he had the resources. He was a law professor. He had the resources to force a 50-50 agreement. And now he's dead. And
what often happens with these women is they get this fantasy in their head that the grass is greener on the other side. If only they can dump this husband. They remember back to their 20s when they were high value in the sexual marketplace and guys were hitting on them all the time, and they're like, if I can only get rid of my deadbeat law professor husband, I'd have all these men pursuing me again. And they fail to recognize that now they have a kid or two kids, they're 10 years older, they got a little wrinkles, they don't look like they did when they were 20. And then when she divorces her husband and the grass doesn't get greener, guess what women don't do? They don't hold themselves accountable for a bad decision. It has to be someone else's fault.
Yeah.
If only I moved to another state. If only I moved to another country. If only this guy wasn't holding me back. It's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
And when that's keeping her from achieving what she in her imaginary little Disney mind imagines will be living with the prince in the castle, she gets murderous.
Yeah, and unbronzed. By numbers, there are a lot of those guys. By numbers, there's a lot of them. By percentage, and this is the analytical, when you go by statistics and when you get by numbers, there are a huge amount in... okay, I got it. My cat is...
That's a nice pussy.
Thank you. It's my ginger pussy. Now, in numbers, there are huge
that line usually works for me.
Yeah, in numbers, there's a huge amount of these guys, and often these guys do it to more than one woman. They do it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women. I mean, now I know they're...
But it's the same guy, Nick. It's the same guy.
It's the same
and it's the guy the women
Yeah.
are picking. So when we look at the dating app data, right, which now we have this, we live in this beautiful world where we can do this. Women find 80% of men unattractive. I mean, they're just completely not interested. Women are only looking at the top 20% of guys. So this notion that women have that all men cheat, they think they're talking about all men, but what they're actually talking about is the top 20% of guys. Of course, those guys cheat. They can cheat, but the bottom 80% of guys, those guys can't cheat. No one wants them in the first place. They're not jumping from girl to girl. They don't have the potential to do that.
They did that survey on one of the dating sites where they asked all the women and all the men rate the people you swipe left or right or whatever it is on.
Yep.
And men, it was more or less a normal bell curve.
Right, because men are perfectly happy with
hockey stick curve.
Is a cute girl to a guy. We're perfectly happy with the 6. Guys don't actually need it. In fact, guys are cautioned against 8, 9s, and 10s because we know they're high maintenance. So a low maintenance 6 or 7, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm actually going to go ahead and head on out. So, hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, thank you so much, and you're
Yeah, see you,
always
Kaiser.
welcome when you can. And
Yeah.
thank you for the discussion. Maybe
Kaiser,
we'll
did your wife find
continue
out what
on,
you're talking about?
Yeah,
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
just kind of wearing down. So,
Yeah.
I get you, man. I get you, man.
He was good. He wasn't talking. He wasn't talking.
Yeah,
I
shit.
know. I was thinking
Don't
about that
blame him.
earlier. I was laughing. I was like, ah.
Yeah. The
No,
old Norse
listen,
stories
dude,
about
if
fire
your
and
wife
ice.
is upset, she's upset at me. She's not upset at you. So,
Dude, my
I
wife
know.
thinks
You were
you're
totally
awesome.
cool.
Dude, my wife, you have to meet my wife. Everybody likes her better than they do me.
well, she is pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, I married up. She's much better looking.
Yeah, mine's in bed by now. I'm just, gonna be winding down because my Benadryl's starting to kick in.
All right, man. Great seeing you.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Good
too,
to see you,
Brock.
Kaiser.
Nick, thanks, expert. Good to see you. I'm out, y'all.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Yep. Bye. Yeah, it's close to 4 a.m. here, and I need to start
That's
to
awesome.
prepare for tomorrow. And yeah,
I have to be at the University of Tennessee homecoming game tomorrow at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that. O'clock. Kickoff's at noon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
I was supposed to
that?
be do what?
Are you in Nashville now?
No. I'm actually I'm in an undisclosed location in East Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, but I need to get everything in order for tomorrow and have my my outfit up and done and everything. So I'm going to. There's not much to redirect to, so I will be redirecting you to my fundraising stream tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Be sure and hit the notify button.
Yeah, hit the notify. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your kids. I don't care. But we one of the aims to keep getting funds to Zachariah Anderson and to make Ian Runkle eat banana pizza. And yeah. And as per usual, $100 to that fundraiser, $25 to me. I take a shot. You all know the rules. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Hey, thanks for having me on, Nick. Expert. Great seeing you again. I'm going to sign off
Great
now.
seeing you, man.
Everybody have a safe and happy weekend, and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. All right.
See you.
Bye. Yeah.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. And we will finish off with Dave on a jet ski wearing fake beard and a top hat.